Ben Thorp.
Ethan,
What's going on, man?
nigga, I think I gotta come to Mexico.
Is that Ralph?
You got to come to Mexico? Yeah, you might need to, actually.
My pretty much my entire life has been destroyed because I have a normal relationship with my daughter, which crazies on the internet think, and the police also think I should be deprived of all my rights in order to live out. Isn't that crazy?
That does sound pretty crazy. I just want to ask you a couple things because,
Absolutely.
I had different reports. At first I was told that somebody watching the stream called the police, and then somebody tried to tell me it was Grace, which I found that hard to believe. Who actually reported you? Like, what happened?
It was basically like whether it was actually Grace's mother, it was her or her agents.
Watching the stream. Yeah, I saw a little bit of the back and forth in text messaging between Grace and her mother.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, right. So whatever. I mean, that's what it's been now for 5 years because her mother won't admit that she's lacks maturity. She's inspired by the devil to do demonic things.
I mean, you could probably find out who called. Like, there's probably like a Freedom of Information Act. Because I don't think Courtney called. I'm just saying.
Well, again,
it doesn't matter what.
I just want to clarify whether it was Grace or not. Yeah, I mean, it could have been anybody, but yeah, it could have been her doing something, putting somebody up to it. I don't know. I just want to clarify.
It certainly wasn't Grace.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Honestly, that didn't really make sense to me. But
if Grace had called the police, I don't think I would have. I mean, I can't conceive of it, but like that would be actually legitimate. If someone, I actually do think that, if they're whatever, there you get into like gray areas. What actually happened makes no sense at all. I don't think makes any sense at all. Because here's what I would say, Ethan. I was thinking about it, and you say to yourself, like, okay, I guess this makes some kind of sense. But if I had played hockey or football or basketball with my adult son and had been rough in playing the sport with him, and someone had videotaped it and sent it in, would the police have done what they did? No.
No,
not in a million years.
I wouldn't think so. No.
Or for example, this guy Sean Strickland,
yes,
who sparred with Nico.
Yes.
Okay, if someone, I mean, there you have like a borderline thing. Like, did he punch him too hard? I mean, at a certain point, if Sneeko lost his life, I do think someone should be held responsible for that, like because they should have known. Okay, but like Sneeko got the snot kicked out of him. To me, I don't think the state has any interest or should have any interest. He's stupid to get ringed.
Just to play devil's.
He consented and kept fighting back, right? Whereas Grace just gets shell shocked.
Don't let this guy. Don't let this guy. This guy
can't stop me.
And shut the fuck up.
Can't stop me, bro. Shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
My server now, bitch.
Shut up.
All right, so
please,
I mean, there is a little bit of a difference there because it's like a consenting activity or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So how is there a difference? That's what I would like to explore.
Well, it's like a sporting activity that both, agreed to participate in, right? Versus, kicking somebody, right? What about the kick itself? I saw it was kind of a hard kick. I ain't gonna lie, but
Handsome Crayon sent $2 on Rumble.
But what
Ben,
do you
stop trying to justify being a daughter basher?
Well, I mean,
your point of view. How do you see it?
But it would I would say it was a shove with a foot, technically, because a kick is like like if you watch kickboxing, it wasn't that type of kick intended to cause violence. It was basically shoving her off the bed because I was sick of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that there are harder kick. Like if you kicked her with the toe or you stomped, those would be different. I guess it was the rearing back a little bit that got people's attention on it. I mean, was there any damage or like what did the police say? Like,
I'd describe it more as a shove of the foot, personally.
I mean, it was. I mean, if you want to get into it, like, there was like continuous contact, so I was just sort of pushing her away from me. But I was expressing frustration. That's true, and I was expressing it physically.
So you could sort of describe it as a defensive push kick to great distance.
Whatever. I mean, I love it for itself. But what I don't understand is Grace has a relationship with me, which is the combination of a streaming relationship and a personal relationship, isn't it up to her to determine whether she wants to be part of that relationship? And if it includes aspects of physicality, isn't it up to her if she wants
You're an authority figure
engage
brainwashing
aspects or
without
not?
consent.
Well, I saw her say that it was a prank and all this when the police were there, and we'll go through it. I haven't went through it just yet on my stream, but I watched it before, so I did see some of it.
Well, sometimes, especially young people, they try to, like, in a sense, they try to, in a sense, like, avoid criminalizing someone else by using an immature sort of response, right?
Well, she was trying to say whatever she could to get the police to not arrest you. From experience, that doesn't work.
Right, like a lot of times, black guys who are cops come, they'll go like, "Hey, no, we got no beef."
No, they're there to arrest somebody. Yeah, that's not how it works.
Well, but
actually, talking to them is not advisable when they're in that mode. But anyway, what was your?
Yeah, it's the whole issue there. I've gone into the sovereign citizen stuff. Like, I do think I believe in the authority of the state. I believe that the state has some authority, but I believe that in the United States of America, and especially in the state of Rhode Island, it has exceeded its actual authority so grievously that I believe that I am basically a persecuted person, and I'm considering driving down to the consulate of the Russian Federation and begging them for asylum on human rights grounds.
Well, if you have a certain amount of money, you could come to Mexico, but I won't get into all those.
But actually, I looked at because in Mexico there were extradition
Handsome Crayon
treaties,
sent
right?
$2 on Rumble.
There's
Is she a good root, Ben?
Yeah, there are, but really only for felonies and stuff like that. I don't know if it's a felony charge that you got.
No, it's a misdemeanor.
Okay.
But if I don't show up for my court date, now it becomes something else.
Yeah.
So are you out on bail? Is that right?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm technically out on bail. Yeah.
And I heard your bail was $10,000. Now I know a little something about this, so that means you had to give $1,000. Basically, you don't get that money back, right? Is that how it works in Rhode Island?
I didn't pay anything, and I refused to pay anything, and I told Grace not to pay anything because I'm sick of being shaken down. And if they want to feed me, and I've never felt safer than in prison, in the jail. I've never felt safer
jail. Yeah, that's a little bit
than in jail. So if they want me to spend the rest of my life in jail because I'm a man, that's fine with me. Better sex, better food, better exercise situation.
Well,
I'm all for it.
And
if they want to, they'll just send me to.
What do you mean by better sex? Can you explain that?
Yeah, I was a little befuddled there, but.
Grace's mother sexually tortured me and continues to engage in a kind of BDSM insanity. So I think I could be a good spouse to an alpha male in jail. It would make way more sense.
You'd be a good prison bitch, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Would you talk to the Catholic?
Are you actually saying that right now? Like, I'm not even joking.
Yes. Okay. So you're a male, right? You claim to be a male. Is that right? You claim to be a man, and you don't know what the difference is between banter and
James Hartner sent $10.
You don't know that? Okay. So then you should examine whether you really deserve to take another breath on this earth and act accordingly.
Also, I heard that pedophile apologist Brian Dunn is in this call too. He's allegedly provided pedophilic material to his father.
I've never done that,
was
Ralph,
just
and
told
I
that.
suggest you stop before you get a lawsuit thrown.
You ain't gonna do shit, you little fucking piece of
might be dealing with
trash.
the same thing.
You ain't gonna do shit.
I mean, you're the only fucking guy here that was claiming on air that you would fuck a 13-year-old.
I knew you were there, brother. I knew you were there. Why don't you just be quiet while the grown folks are talking?
No, I'm not, bro. I was being
folks are
respectful,
talking.
but I'm not going to be. You're the only guy here that said that you would fuck a 13-year-old, your
I
own
never
wife
said
on
that.
live air. No.
Dude, your
Yes,
pops
you did.
got
You want me to
popped
play it? We play it right
for
here.
child
play
porn.
Right here. It's your own voice. You said
For
no
child
condom
porn.
whatsoever.
For child
condom.
porn.
whatsoever.
I was
have
talking
no
about when I was
pornography with
13, you idiot.
I actually have my kids. Unlike you, Ralph, I'm allowed to
I
be
don't
around
give
my
a
children.
fuck. I don't care about your kids.
Well, you should. You should.
No, I
you should
don't.
watch what you say. You shouldn't slander people. How are you going to
What are
hop
you
on
gonna do,
a
Brian? You
stream,
threatened to kill
stream
me.
about Rekieta and
You
Pedo
threatened to kill me.
and talk about pedophile
Why don't you come
stuff,
down to
but you're gonna
Mexico and see
slander
what
me
you
as
can do?
pedophile.
Why don't you come down to Mexico and see
What,
what
come
you can
down
do?
to Mexico?
Yeah,
come
come
on
down to Mexico and see what you can do.
where I live.
Come down
I
to
live in
Mexico and
Motel
see what
6
you can
because I've been
do.
hiding from
You
the
know, it's a
cartel.
10th year
Venezuela.
anniversary of you
Venezuela
ruining your
loves
entire
me
career,
still. I'm
Brian.
in Mexico.
Just stop with the child porn. Just stop with the child porn.
I don't have any child pornography.
Are you
Ralph,
sure?
Watch yourself, man.
Your dad had some.
I'll sue you, absolutely. I'll sue you for defamation.
Oh,
You got
I'm
any proof?
scared. I'm scared.
You should be.
Get in
Look
line.
at Rackets. He's shitting his
You
pants
can get in
over
line
Monty.
to
I'll
sue me,
That's
fucker.
definitely defamation,
You can
sir.
get in line to sue me, fucker.
Okay, I'll get in line.
Okay,
I'll
get
sue
in
you,
line.
Ralph.
Okay, well, sue me.
Defamation if you continue
This is
doing
me
that.
telling you to sue me.
Do you have it? Oh, no, Ralph. I want you to say on air, do you have proof that I've ever done that?
I never said
Yes
you
or
had,
no?
I had any proof. There's a lot of
You
speculation.
absolutely have. I've got
There's a lot of
multiple clips.
speculation
I've got
that you
multiple
provided
clips.
your
I've actually
father
talked
with
to the
child
prosecutor's
porn.
office already about
I
it,
don't
but
give a
I'm
fuck,
warning you
Brian.
right now.
I don't
On
give a
air.
fuck. Talk to whoever the fuck you want
just
to,
say
loser.
Yes or no. Do you have any evidence that I've ever done that? Yes or no?
I never said I had any.
So you don't have any evidence. So why are you saying it?
A lot of people are speculating on that.
No, who's a lot of? I don't care about a lot of people. You openly claim to multiple people,
claim.
including your former co-host. No,
didn't
yes,
claim.
you did. I have it repeatedly.
Okay,
Look,
well,
bro,
do
I have a
something
whole
about it.
folder.
Okay,
of
well,
you
do something
live on
about
air.
it.
I already have. Went to a prosecutor's office in Michigan.
Oh,
I've already
I'm
done
so
it, Ralph.
scared. That's not against the criminal law, you moron.
Yeah, it's defamation. You can't
That's
just
not
run around
criminal
claiming
law, you
people are
idiot. That's
pedophiles.
civil law, you
It's
fucking
okay.
moron.
All right, Ralph.
still law,
All right,
isn't
Ralph.
it?
Why
When
don't
get
you
the lawsuit,
learn
don't
anything
sign
you're
off.
fucking talking about before
Don't
you
be
run
crying
your
when you get the
goddamn
lawsuit.
fucking mouth, you
when
idiot?
they serve you, when they serve you,
Yeah, when they serve me,
don't
I'll
cry,
wipe
because
my
you
ass
claim
with
that
it,
I'm a pedophile
fucker.
with
That's
no
what
evidence.
I'll do. I'll wipe my goddamn
All
ass
right.
with it.
All right.
So
All right.
serve
Another
me with
lawsuit,
whatever the
another fucking
fuck
debt
you think
got.
you can serve me, if you can even find me, fucker,
Okay.
which you can't. So suck my fucking
Come
dick,
find me.
fucker.
Come find
Suck
me,
my
Bobby,
dick.
Motel 6, Pittsburgh,
Can't
I
even
still
understand
love
the
you.
difference between
I still
criminal and
love you,
civil law.
Pittsburgh.
You're a moron.
Hey, Paso,
You're
give
a
me another
moron. You
torta.
suck tranny
Give me
dick, and
another
there's
torta,
video
baby.
of it
I
all
love
over the
you.
internet.
Pittsburgh,
What about the
come back.
tranny dick
Come
that you
back,
sucked,
200
Brian?
pesos.
Brian, what about the tranny
200
dick?
pesos for you, baby.
Hey,
Come on,
Brian.
one more hour.
Hey, Brian,
One
what
more
about
hour.
the
I swear,
tranny
baby.
dick?
I know
about
Russ
Ben?
Patterson
There's
was
videos
fucking
of
but
you
I want
sucking
back,
fucking
baby.
dick, you
I
fucking
want you
moron.
back so bad. I'm so fucking
What
mad.
about the dick you sucked, Brian Dunn? Was that AI or was that you choking down a cock, you motherfucker? Yeah, keep sucking dick. Keep sucking dick. There's literal videos of you sucking dick all over the internet. And you won't answer it because you know it's you. You know it's you. You suck dick and there's video of it, Brian. You suck dick and there's video of it, Brian. You suck dick. God, what a disgusting fuck.
On a side note.
What a fuck your side note and shove it straight up your ass, or maybe you can suck on that too, you fucking piece of trash.
You sound upset.
No, I'm just having fun bullying you. You're a moron and mentally broken.
I'm not a moron, Ralph.
Yes,
I'm
you
much
are a
smarter than
moron. You don't
I
even know
have
the
a
difference
career.
between civil and
A
criminal
dumbass would be
law.
a guy who
You
throws
are a
away
moron.
not one relationship, but two
You
with their own
are a
children.
moron.
Fights with every father-in-law that they have to death. Not
What?
loses everything and has to go
I
hide
haven't
in
lost
Mexico to avoid
everything,
being
Brian.
served in a Motel 6.
There's
because the
video of you
cartel's after.
sucking
That's a
dick.
moron.
What about you sucking
There's no
dick,
video of
Brian?
me sucking dick.
Yes,
Ralph.
there
You want
is.
to add that to the defamation claim too?
There's
You
video of
stupid
you
fuck?
sucking dick.
Play it.
I'm not gonna play it.
Play it on your stream right now. You have my
No.
permission. If it's real, play it.
Why
If
would
it's
I
real,
play a
it.
video of you sucking dick so I would get
I just
banned
told
off
you
my
could. Put it on
platform?
Pornhub. Put it on Pornhub.
No,
Give my
I'm
permission.
not. It was
Really
disgusting, and I didn't want to see it in the first place.
So it's not real then. So stop lying. This is what I mean. You lie all the time.
I'm
this
not
is why you're in
lying.
such a
You suck
situation
dick.
you're in.
Brian,
you
you
lie
suck
all the
dick.
time.
Why don't you just
You
be
know,
open
I
with your
don't. I have my
sexuality?
wife and my 2 children, Ralph.
It's
Where are your wife and 2 kids?
2024. Brian, it's
You have
2024.
no kids.
Why don't you stop
Around
worrying
you. You
about
have
other
nothing
people's
available to you.
kids? That's
You're in
what
a
got your
motel
father
right now.
locked
You're
up.
literally in a motel right now
That's
in
what
Mexico.
got your father
They're
locked
sitting there
up, Brian.
screaming to people who don't care about you.
I'm not in
Get
a
job.
motel, you idiot.
Yes, you are. You're hiding
No,
in
I'm
Mexico.
not.
You've already admitted to it. Come find me in Mexico.
I'm not in a
hiding.
motel.
I'm hiding. Yes,
All right,
you are.
all right, guys.
Just
guys,
ban this faggot.
Pesuela, come back to me. I got 200 pesos, baby. One more hour. Just one more hour, Pesuela,
Just
please.
keep sucking dick and
Pesuela,
procuring child
please.
porn, allegedly, for your father.
You know why you hate it, Ralph? Is because I've got
I
everything you
don't hate
have.
it. I don't hate
Everything
it.
you don't have. I got my kids.
You got a
I
dick
got
in
my
your
wife,
mouth? You're right.
I got
You
my
do have
career,
that. You do
I
have
got
a dick in
everything.
your
I
mouth.
can literally turn this off.
You have a
and I
dick
turn
in your
around
mouth.
and
Okay,
my
well, you
kids are all
never do
happy,
that.
and
Why
my
don't you
wife
turn
is
it off
happy, and
then?
my life is happy.
Why don't
What
you
you
turn it
got,
off,
Ralph? You
Brian?
got your Xanax.
Why don't
You
you turn
got
it
your
off then,
drugs,
Brian?
You got your booze. You got Mexico.
Why don't you
got
turn it off
hookers.
then? You can't turn it
You got
off.
nothing, bro.
You're physically
Brian,
incapable
Brian,
of turning it
turn
off.
it off. You can't.
You
just
can't.
Stop making fun of retards on the internet. You gotta
can't
turn
turn it
it
off.
off.
Brian, stop before you get timed out, Brian.
Hold on.
Ralph, I'll always
Time out,
be
Brian.
better than you.
Hold
I'll always be
on a
opposite
second.
of
But
you.
you're
Hold
not.
on.
Time out, Brian. Time out,
I just
Brian.
want to
Come
come
on, man.
back, baby. Just one more.
He's so
Hold
mad.
on.
baby.
Why is he so
I
angry?
swear.
Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on a second.
I'm not
Hold on a
mad.
second.
I'm not
Brian,
mad.
chill.
Well, you should be
Chill,
mad.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a
Why
second.
should I be angry, Ralph? What upsets me? I didn't even care about you.
Well, because I just
Clearly-
outed you
Yeah.
sucking dick to everybody watching this
Oh, I
stream
just
and other
outed you
streams.
sucking dick. Well,
You
where's the
guys-
video, Ralph? There's
Well,
no
I'm
video of
not
me ever
posting
doing
it.
something like that. That's just a
Okay.
blatant lie.
Chill.
If
Why
it
don't
was
you
done
ask Ferd where it's
pornography,
at?
retard.
Because
Right,
who's her?
I've seen it posted. Yeah.
Brian.
Oh, you've
Brian.
seen it posted. Okay, Ralph.
Yeah,
you have
I've
my
seen it
permission to
posted.
prove this.
No,
You're
I'm
welcome.
not pulling it up.
Don't deep fake it now.
Brian.
You're the one who does the
Ethan-
deep
Yes,
throating,
sir.
not the deep
Brian is-
faking.
I don't do any of that. I'm sorry. Just shut up, Ralph. Big adults are talking. Just sit back and try to make a couple
Fuck you,
dollars. I'm
Brian.
sure
You're
Ada
a
will give you
loser.
a dollar.
Oh,
You're a
that's one
loser.
minute. You don't
I
need to
make
watch
more than
words,
you in a
guys.
day.
Come on, guys. Get a bigger
Brian,
man.
I don't think
get
so.
enough words.
I do agree with
What's
Ethan.
going
that
on,
you are-
Ben?
Go
you are-
ahead.
I do agree with Ethan that you are kind of a loser in my interactions with you, but I'll try to
Ben,
be
you just
neutral.
got arrested and you fuck your own daughter. Everything you say is a hypocritical oath. You
Okay,
claim you're a priest and you're not. You don't even know how to speak the Bible.
Hey, Brian.
What do you
Okay,
mean?
Hey, Brian. Hey,
You're
Brian.
like the last guy that
Brian,
could ever
Brian,
tell me that I'm a
Brian,
loser.
Ben,
compared to
show
you,
me
Ben.
more.
Never.
Brian,
It's never
Brian,
gonna
Ban you,
happen,
Brian,
man.
still. He's gonna
Never
ban
gonna
you,
happen,
Brian.
Ben. That's the reality.
Okay, I would
You
ask
just
someone
admitted
to
that
be
you would be
this
someone's
guy
prison
because
bitch and get fucked in prison.
Brian,
What do you
Brian,
mean? You're a
It's
mess.
called a joke,
Brian,
Brian.
You're
You're
fucking
spurred.
Brian,
Brian,
It's
he's
called a
gonna
Brian,
ban
joke.
you if you
You're
don't chill.
spurred.
Brian,
Taylor, just one more total,
Brian,
baby.
He's lost
Come
his
on
mind.
now.
Ben, listen to this
Brian,
guy.
Chino Casino won. Hip hop.
Okay,
Come on,
yeah,
Ralph.
they hate you too, Brian. But
Brian,
I don't
Brian,
care if they hate me.
Brian,
This is the internet. Who gives a shit? They're not.
Brian,
I'm not my wife. I don't have to prove shit to them.
Brian.
What, Ben? What?
Let's engage a little bit. Okay. So, what is it? I'm just going to ask you a question. What is it you've been complaining now for like 20 minutes?
I didn't complain. I asked you to reiterate about the jail thing, and you want to get fucked.
We'll be men,
Yes,
Brian.
in prison.
Brian, we'll be men. Okay, so we're getting to the point where it doesn't seem like you're able to have a conversation. I'm trying to have a conversation
We are?
with you.
I just.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is the point
Sure.
if you're going to scream and yell, and we're going to scream and yell over each other?
Well, I wasn't. I was just
Would you agree
arguing
with
with a
that?
guy who does that for a living.
Man.
That's all. That has nothing to do with you.
All right, let's start with the real
Nothing to do with you.
preliminary here. If we're going to talk,
A random
then
retard claimed
okay,
that I
so
had
you're out. You're out.
pedophilia
Please,
with no
whoever
proof
gets
and
this-
evidence,
Stop
and
it.
I
suck.
decided to
I
address
I
him
have
down
evidence.
in
I have
the appropriate
evidence.
manner.
Brian Dunn
Please.
does in fact trade in child porn.
I need
You're
a
an
mod-
actual
get
pedophile,
rid of this
Shaggy.
guy.
That's another
Shaggy.
fucking wild.
But Brian, I don't know if
Shaggy.
I have a moderator. But Brian, can I just appeal to you, man to man? I'm happy to let you talk,
Well, Vincent,
but you also then have to let me talk. Is that okay?
Well,
Can we-
I just asked you about the whole prison thing. I wasn't trying to do all this other stuff.
Can
that
we
Ralph
agree
needed
to that? I need a yes or no.
Sure, yeah, that's fine. That's fine, Ben. Yeah,
Okay,
that's absolutely
okay. So here's my problem with how you're conversing. You've spent a good amount of time on my Discord, which I've allowed you to do, complaining that Ethan has been doing what to you that's unfair.
I think you're misunderstanding.
Anyone want to
Ethan
answer
Ralph
that
just randomly
question?
hollered that I'm a pedophile with no evidence.
Okay, right. Okay, so
And I addressed that correctly.
Okay, by publicly defaming you. Okay,
Yeah.
is that correct? That's your basic beef with
Correct.
him?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
How
would say
long-
that and a minor multitude of other
How
things, but I
long?
leave it at
Wait a
that.
minute. Wait a minute. How long did it take you to publicly defame me when I asked, like, I asked the both of you to calm down, and I said I would.
You didn't ask me to calm down. You made a jab, and I responded. You said I was a loser, and I
but how
reminded
did you
you of
respond?
some of the
Okay,
faults that you have done. Those are facts.
Right. How did you respond?
Well,
I responded
James
by
Gardner
correcting
sent
you by
$5
you're the
on Rumble.
loser, by reminding
No.
you that
No,
you're the one
that's
that's in
not
jail.
true.
You're the one that was thrown out of your
You-
wife's house. You're not allowed to have sex with your wife. You just admitted you want to get fucked by men, and that you have sex with your own dog.
Brian, we all heard what
The
you
only
said.
loser here is you.
Brian,
I don't have to take
Brian,
advice from a guy like you.
Brian,
You weaponize the church
Brian,
for your fucking
Brian,
degeneracy.
Brian, you said something. You said, I F my dog.
I hurt
Did
your feelings?
Did you not say that?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you not say that? Did you
Repeat
say
it?
that? No, you heard what I said.
No, I didn't hear it. Repeat that.
Okay, so now you know what you said. You defamed.
What?
You did the exact same thing what you were complaining about Ethan doing to you. Okay, so now we can move beyond that, and we can ask ourselves: is that the type of stuff we want to engage in, or not? Is it fine as banter, or not? My suggestion would be is that we just sort of like move beyond those things and try to act a little more rational on all sides. What do you say to that, Brian?
Sure. No, I think that's okay, but I think you're pointing the finger at the wrong guy who started that argument.
Go ahead. You can point out to me things that are true, such as that I went to jail. I have no problem with that. I think that's reasonable. But maybe we could hold off.
I think you're misplacing the finger. I think you should be pointing at the fat torta-eating retard that decided to pipe up.
Dude, you're fatter than me. Are you kidding? By far.
I'm way thinner than you, bro.
I'm 175 pounds, dude. We saw you. You're balding and you're disgusting,
I would literally
dude.
kill you. I'm balding, bro? Well,
yeah, you are. Face, bro. You're balding. I mean, there's pictorial evidence.
It's going to be right back to the same thing. Yeah, we're old. We're getting old, Ralph. We're 35 years old. You're almost fucking 40. So who gives a shit about balding? I'm much well. I've lost a lot more weight than you. I'm in the gym all the time.
You
two
absolutely.
Now this is
you're
the
letting
kill
him
game, I
equate
remember.
you both with
Good
him.
work,
You're
Ralph.
letting him equate you.
No, this guy is.
I'll tell you what. Here's what I'm going to do, Ben. I'm going to mute so you can continue your conversation. I apologize. My intention was not to talk to this fat, alcoholic, pill-popping retard.
I think a real
eating
man
bitch.
would engage in a
It was just to talk to you.
Instead of blipping off. But if you want to do that because you're outclassed, that's fine. You can all leave. So he rage quit. Okay,
yes,
fine.
Of course.
I didn't rage quit. I just was letting you speak.
Why don't we engage in a conversation instead of hurling insults and defamation and then going like, I'm leaving now, right? Why can't we just?
Well, I didn't say I was leaving. Who said that?
Well, I don't know. You're going to mute yourself.
I just got quiet so you could speak. Ben.
I
was listening.
Let you know. I believe there's something that we can all agree to, like the basic male masculine code, which can include insults. Okay, banter is kind of a locker room atmosphere.
Sure. All right. Oh, look, I'm gonna mute you to continue your conversation so we can listen.
Maybe we could agree to.
Excuse me, Ben. Can I speak? Hello, it's Rizzo, long-time super chatter of Cog here.
And I don't really
ask, how much ice cream can Shaggy fit in his arse?
Okay.
What the fuck?
Good question.
So here's what I would like to see if we can get to. You and Ethan have some beef. Okay. I'm not sure whether it's going to be all that productive.
It's been addressed, Ben. I don't need to talk to him anymore. I wanted to ask you about what's going on with the court stuff. It's supposed to be Friday, I think. I was told you had a no contact order. You can get into that stuff if you want or not, but what is the actual charge and what are you facing? Do you expect it to get taken care of, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, so I've been through this before because my evil son, who was told by his mother that they're both victims of me, accused me of domestic violence, in a court. But my problem is I don't see why I should have to show up in court, and I don't see why I should have to abide by this no contact order, because there are basic problems with all this stuff that I actually think nobody could answer. Such as, for example, here's just an issue. This is a Discord server that both Grace and I use as one of the sort of aspects of our livelihood, right? I don't know whether in a contact order she's allowed to say come on and mute herself or what.
I think as long as she doesn't talk, it might be okay. But if you were talking,
I was told by that she can talk all she wants.
Really? So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
All she wants. She can call me. She can text me.
It's just no contact, physical contact. Is that what it means? Yeah, different orders have different restrictions, right? So I don't know the terms of yours.
What I'm saying is they try to. There's two issues I have with it. They try to have this line between you and another person that I actually don't think is possible to have. But especially what complicates it is when the other person has no desire to have this line put there. I have no idea how that makes any sense whatsoever. And I think it denies, this is one of these things. I think the men's rights movement tends to be douchey, bunch of bros jerking each other off. But I actually think it really affects women and children more than men, because women and children need their fathers more than their fathers need them. So actually, I think it's a basic human rights issue, because I know my daughter, she needs me to be part of her life. And without that, she's going to suffer immensely. And same with my kids. And none of them want this done on their behalf. And there's no justification for any of it. And so I would like someone to try to justify any of this in any way whatsoever.
Well, I would just say be careful because, you might not think it's fair or whatever, but those no contact orders can, first violation, something like that might not be that big a deal, but they can start stacking and start fucking with you. Now, if
I understand.
Yeah.
No, I understand. They're saying they're threatening me with violence, and they will follow through on that. But every every police officer said who interacted with me, they said I had this stuff makes no sense to me, and the guy who booked me said, this is the last thing I want to be doing, right? So like the boys in blue, who are generally masculine men, don't want to be doing this, but what do they always say?
Well, of course, they're more likely to beat their wives, right? They probably do.
As well, even if they don't, you just say that to make you feel better.
That's an unbelievable misandry statement to me.
Now, in some circumstances, wife beating isn't just acceptable; it's epic.
I have to disavow that.
But that's just pure misandry to assume that police officers.
Where should I go? I'm already out.
Extraordinarily professional, extraordinarily in control of their emotions. I would trust most of them more than I would trust the vast majority.
Oh, wait, police officers. Wait, those statistics are not misandry. Statistically, they are more likely to beat their wives than the general population.
You said they probably beat their wives. That's insane.
It's probable. It is probable.
More likely, not probable.
Okay, so now
they do that all the time.
You can understand English. What does probably mean?
That it is likely probable.
Statistically, they do. Statistically, they do. They do it all the time.
What number is probably? What number do you have?
Statistically.
I think they're more likely than the general population to beat their wives.
This is a basic point. Not answering. Okay, Lab, you're an intelligent female, right? The word probably could be interpreted as more likely than not. Would you agree with that? We'll stay with words before we get to numbers.
It can be interpreted that way. Yeah, wasn't the
in what other way?
Like 40 to 50% of police.
In what other way can
it was 40%?
Yeah, 40%. That's pretty big.
In what other way can the term probably?
Should I go to Whole Foods or the chocolate shop? I'm gonna go to the chocolate shop.
What other way can the term probably be?
You're making Amelia. She misspoke. She meant most. She said most likely, but she meant disproportionately.
Okay, so is she going to retract the term probably?
She should. Yeah, she should.
No, I still mean probably.
Okay, so
oh my god!
Admit that you're saying that means more likely than not.
She's wrong. She's retarded. It's fine. I have a question for you though, Ben. Like, do you not think courts should have the power to take?
I'm not talking to you. You need to apologize. You want to apologize?
I'm sorry for trolling you. But you were avoiding my question. It seemed like it. But I'm sorry for trolling you so hard.
I answer every question by every autist on planet Earth. Okay, and you should have stopped doing what you were doing. Okay, and if you admit that, that's fine. We'll move on. Okay, just say okay, and we'll move on.
Okay, I'm sorry, Ben, but I just want to ask Shaggy one question. How much ice cream can you fit in your butt, Shaggy?
Also, is Kitty Styles here? Didn't he fuck his sister and admit to that on Stream.me?
Hey, aren't you strung out on Xanax? Shut your fucking mouth, you
What
fat.
has that got to do with anything?
I
think being on Xanax is a lot better than fucking your sister,
You're the
Kitty
king
Styles.
of nothing, dude.
You're
the
a
king
sick
of nothing.
fuck,
Shut your
dude. You should be
fucking face.
banned from life. Go fuck your sister again, sick fuck.
I want a reverse card.
Oh, this is Potato and Ethan.
Are you gonna do low blow?
Well, he admitted it, Ben. He fucked his sister.
He did admit it. He did admit it. Keith Styles is a
I'm not
fucking
making that up.
scumbag, bro. I don't know why
Literally
you're hanging
fucked his
around with him.
sister. He literally fucked his sister.
I don't think that's true.
No, it's true, Ben. He admitted it on Stream.me. I swear to God.
Did I?
Ethan, let me ask you a question.
I'm being real.
That's so gross. Do you have video evidence?
Yeah,
I was about to ask for a clip.
Yeah, the video evidence.
Fucking whore mouth for a minute. Ethan, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
As a man, have you found on the internet that accusations of violent and sexually predatory crimes are often hurled at men willy-nilly, and that we should be more careful
I have found that, Ben, but in this case, he talked about it in depth and admitted to doing it. So, like, that's That's why I agree with you in theory, but like this guy, made a confession.
This is a different situation. This guy is scumbag, bro.
Yeah, that really happened. Yeah.
You have the video evidence and everything, right?
I mean,
but when men are co-opted into this,
it's not easy to find.
I said it's very easy to find.
It's very the video evidence of me fucking my sister. Okay,
a video evidence of you talking about it.
Show it to me. Show it.
Did you fuck your sister or not?
What do you think?
Well, you said you did, so I'm thinking you did. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you said I did. You said I said that.
But Ethan, what business is
I mean, I don't care about his sister, obviously, Ben.
Obviously, you care. You care because you mentioned it in front of 50 people, so obviously you do care.
No, I just care about razzing you because you're a sick fuck. You wanted my attention.
So you're
okay, Mr. Sanix. I can't remember shit.
What is that compared to fucking your sister, dude?
Bro, you're on drugs. You can't even remember anything because you suck your soul out of your fucking life. You take too many drugs. I've seen you for years. You're a fucking loser, dude. You're a fucking loser.
Even Ralph.
Ethan, your gum sucks. Like, who the fuck are you?
There's nobody here
What makes you think you can fucking talk?
Ethan.
I'm just saying, Ben.
You don't have a leg to stand on. Shut your fucking mouth, you fat
just talk to Ben.
You don't have a leg to stand on. Shut your fucking mouth, you fucking fat
bitch. Come make me.
Can we hit that?
About your stupid opinion.
So you won't be bullying me.
I don't care about your fucking opinion. I don't care about it.
Did you fuck your sister or not?
We didn't hit the goal.
What do you think? I do. Okay, you know what?
Just answer the question.
I don't care what you think. You think whatever you think.
My sister.
Right.
Wait, so did you fuck your sister?
You could just say
no. If you have any proof, then maybe I did.
Okay, but
maybe I did. Go look for it.
Here's the thing.
Make up your,
I would say all of us as men, especially masculine men, have probably done things sexually which we regret. I don't think there's a masculine man. Maybe some of these losers in here who can't even use vocal range have never done anything sexual because they can't even get it out.
Even me.
Probably of all the things we're embarrassed about as
33
men,
sent
it's things we've done sexually.
Ralph out here
and maybe
his
we should
homos.
just like
Our family? Like, what are you fucking on about?
go easy on that.
Yes.
Right. Anyone can hear from your voice that you're not a man, so I'm not incling you. You can
Ben,
be a little
you're a fucking joke. And Hormaxer says you're below beta males.
You're a woman. You're a woman. You're fat.
Ben,
Anyone
you're a
can-
joke of a man. You're not even a good father. You don't even have custody of your fucking children, so shut the fuck up.
Okay, so let me respond to your question. Do a lot of men, when they're growing up, does it also sometimes include things that they do when they're younger? For example, I engaged in naked making out, which was done to me by an 11-year-old boy named Joe Shabatoni, and I was molested by his sister also. This is shit.
There are some things we should all know less about each other.
No. I just say shout out to Joe Shabatoni.
No, Ben, I do not share a similar experience with that.
It set you off on this path.
I
sorry that
once made love to an warm jet of water in a pool late at night when I was lunching. Do I think that's
I know her too. I know her too.
Bull fucker.
Do I feel like that's fair to the other residents of the apartment complex that they were swimming in the remnants of my jizz the next day? No, but shit happens. Okay, I didn't.
Jizz happens.
I wanted to try to go hands-free. And it was, kind of exciting and stimulating. Shit happens when you're...
Ben, can you tell us the story about your dad's leg?
Yeah, that's another
I think
example.
you might be a sex offender.
Could let him tell this one. The dad's leg one, please, Ben.
I opened a can of worms. I didn't know what was going on. Go ahead, Ben.
Male sexuality is a wild ride. Male sexuality is a
Tell the dad's
wild
leg one, Ben. Come on, we want to hear that one.
I just say for the record, I wouldn't touch any inanimate object within Ben's reach with a hole in it. I don't know. I mean, the stories of this guy and what he stuck his dick in, bro. I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd be afraid to put my key into his fucking log.
I think largely all of us have little stories like that when we were.
Tell us about your dad's leg.
Oh yeah, that's true. Ben.
I don't know about the leg story, so now I actually want to hear it too. I've not heard this one.
Yeah, let's hear that.
No, that's no problem. I can tell you that story. My dad is a wonderful father, and he was divorced from my mother, who was and is a daughter of the devil. And he would have us he would have 2 of his 4 sons with him every other weekend. When we were younger, he would have us sleep in the same bed with him, which is totally normal because we had a small apartment and it's totally fine and normal. And only a loser would, find that whatever. And at a certain age, I, reached a certain age where he didn't understand that it was inappropriate. But I think at some point in the night, I got a boner and sort of rubbed it up against him. Felt really bad about that. And he was super nice about it because he didn't say anything about it the next day. And just the next time I came there, he had a bed set up, so I would sleep in that bed. I think that's terrific parenting. And
what a gentleman!
Why didn't you do that for Grace? Why didn't you do that? You didn't talk about it. You just quietly set up another bed for Grace. That's awesome. Yeah, do his advice.
What is it?
Like Grace goes to go to bed tomorrow night, and instead of with you, you've set up another little bed for her. So it's good parenting.
Grace has always had a bed of her own. That's true. What is the question?
Let me ask you this. Look, I volunteered some stuff about my life. Maybe I shouldn't have, but why did this story come out? Like, I guess you've told it before because some people in the chat already knew about it. I never heard.
I'll tell you why. This and many other stories I tell is because I think there's an hysteria on the internet where especially young people become like frightened of sexuality. And especially male sexuality, especially their own sexuality. I mean, young men, especially young white men, are not reproducing. They're not having sex with women.
How is telling a story about you fucking your dad's leg going to help that?
And I'm here to say that it is a normal part of male sexuality. Obviously, there are things that should, but like we all make mistakes, except like that person who just laughed there, who probably that he's never even got
I think what he's saying is dry hump your dad's leg to save the white race.
There are not small number of men who are considering castrating themselves. Largely, I think
you wouldn't hump your dad's leg to save the white race.
Having a big hard dick like I have might be a crime.
I think you're right.
And it's not a crime.
They do have this issue. You're correct. Well, like, can't you take it too far the other direction? Don't you accept that you could take it too far the other way?
Yeah, I do think there are lines, right? And especially when you're talking about like children.
What are they?
I completely endorse the teachings of the Catholic Church. And for example, the state of Rhode Island has laws on the books about pederasty and all that stuff. I think they're pretty good. I think the age of consent should be 16. I think that's fine. But I mean, everybody wants to say like that. There are certain lies that we're telling, such as that a 15-year-old can't be a sexual predator. That's a lie.
But you wouldn't have sex with a 16-year-old, would you, Ben? Not a 51.
Would I have sex? But that's not the issue of whether I would have sex with a 16-year-old.
Well, I'm
girl.
saying you're saying your age of consent to be 16. You wouldn't have sex with a 16-year-old at 51.
Do I think there's a 16-year-old on planet Earth who could seduce me into sucking my dick? Probably. I'm going to be honest about that.
A 16-year-old could get you to suck your own dick. What the fuck?
Me into having her suck my dick. Yeah, I think that's probably true. I think all men would probably say that's true. There's probably a 16-year-old on Earth who she set her mind to it and was hot enough and seductive enough could get.
No, sorry. When you say she's hot enough, Ben, what that means is she's.
Give her all the great.
I know I've trolled a lot. This is very important. Hold on, please, hold on. When you say she's hot enough, by that you mean like. He seems like a woman enough, right? Is that not what you mean by that? I would a 16-year-old be hot enough?
Whatever seductive. That includes
like
physical, psychological. Is anyone going to deny? Is anyone going to say that? I mean, I probably, in actual fact, I probably wouldn't. But I think I'm incredibly mature sexually. But I think most men could be put in that position.
I don't think a 16-year-old could get me to suck my own dick.
Yeah, a lot of men are dogs, Ben. Actually,
right, nobody has to.
I think the logical follow-up to that question is
because you're such a fucking loser.
What about what about on the whole planet Earth? Is there a 14-year-old hot enough and seductive enough for you?
In the state of Rhode Island, no.
What about on the whole planet Earth? Is there
for the age of consent?
Are we really going to whittle this down to the conversation of is there an age? Like, come on.
Anyways, I mean, I just think that's not controversial. That men, if there are predatory young females, can be seduced into doing something which, on paper, they would not see as a good thing. Is that controversial? it's a weak spot we have.
Yeah, but I didn't hear an answer there. You said there is probably a 16-year-old hot enough to seduce you to sucking your dick, but
I actually
what about
don't
14?
really. I don't really think that's true, but like, I mean, actually, don't think that's true. But I think that I have an incredible virtue of sexual.
But how could you even suck your own dick? Is what I wanted to ask. That seems like.
Ben, tell Ralph about play babies. Remember play babies?
No, he was saying that there's a 16-year-old girl out there somewhere that he would let her suck his dick.
Oh, okay, well that's yeah. I mean that's a different thing. But how did it get from that to sucking your own dick? I'm not gonna let a 16-year-old suck my dick, to be clear. But it changed from her sucking dick to you sucking your own dick. I don't know. I was just lost. On
Ben's making a courageous statement. There's a 16-year-old out there that's sexy enough. And whenever you let her suck his dick,
Ben tells about
he would get
eating
seduced
his
by a
own
16-year-old.
because he thought it would taste like frosting, icing, something like that.
That's perfect. Actually, that's a perfect one. That's a perfect one. I think most men, if they were being honest, would say that at some point in their lives, they've experienced the taste of their own semen. And mostly, I had a girl snowball me. I had a beautiful mulatto girl. She was gorgeous, and and then snowballed me. And
what is it? Okay, yeah. 3 times. Like,
what's snowballing? Is that when you see how much ice cream you can put in Mormon Shaggy's ass?
No, when she takes the gravy and then gives you and gives you a little gravy back.
Wait, what?
That's called snowball. She snowballed.
Oh, wait, so she kissed your cum into your mouth?
Yeah, she was a dirty bitch. It was fun. You know what I mean? Like, I like her. I like her for doing that.
I think this is a sanitized version you're doing. Before this, you tasted your own cum because you thought it looked like icing sugar.
All right, so no, I wanted to. Right, I do think a lot of men just want to see if it tastes like frosting before, so that they. They're kind of hoping. They're kind of hoping it tastes like frosting, so they can, feel like they're not sort of.
But not test it. Not like a bakery. Like, we don't test it. You probably hope it does, but you avoid that shit.
Ben, when was the last time that you ate your own cum? How long has it been since you ate your own cum?
Teaching that those are all disordered acts, but I mean, apparently it's fine to say like I engage in homoerotic activity with myself by taking my hand and jerking my dick until it comes. Like I mean, that's what that is. So
did you do that while you were in jail? Did you get one out while you were in jail?
I did think about it, just as an act of like sort of
defiance.
Defiance.
We put it in gang up there. I'm in jail. I'm just going to jerk off. What a game!
This fucking jail cell was crazy. Yeah. It was like being in. I do understand how they say like Supermax, because it was basically solitary confinement. It was just me and 3 walls and a camera looking at me, and there was I couldn't hear what was going on. There was no one who came in and checked on me. I was not. While I was there, I was not read my right. And eventually, I started yelling at the camera, and I also tried to like at one point hide from the camera because I could see the angle. I hope they were going to come in and do an Epstein check on me. It makes you feel crazy.
Especially check. That's a good one. Yeah.
And I did also.
Did you jerk off while you were in jail, Ben?
They didn't give me any toilet paper, but I'm on camera. They didn't give me any toilet paper, so why shouldn't I take a shit on the floor and throw it at the fucking camera? Why shouldn't I?
That's a good question.
It's a good point.
Why didn't they give me any toilet paper?
Yeah,
you're fucking. You throwing shit around like a chimpanzee. What the fuck,
I told the cop the blood stain on the bars, and he just was like,
Ben.
James,
wait, did you literally shit in the cell? Like on the floor?
I pissed several times, and it was watched by who knows who.
But in the pot, though, not just in the cell.
Yeah, but I missed at a certain point, and I was like, you know what? I'm not wiping that up, niggas. You wipe it up.
But you have to sit in there with us. The problem.
Wait a minute. You missed with your shit. I mean, we're not talking about piss here. You missed the toilet with shit.
It covers up the smell of vinegar. It's decent. The fragrance.
Well, I was there. I was half naked. I didn't.
Sorry, no. I remember now. You've got stomach issues. It was diarrhea everywhere. I got it.
We're burying the lead a little bit. Can we just return to the previous thing before we move to far
I want Ethan
a 16-year-old girl.
I want Ethan to understand what I'm saying is that I do think that men I think it's okay that men, within limits, like, recognize like that is a weak spot for us. I think.
Well, let me ask you this: if you
I have a
think
lot of
this is
sympathy
okay
for
or
young
not.
men who engage in.
Well, what about? Do you have sympathy for this? Because this is a text message from Kitty Styles, and he says, "I was 14 or 15. Don't remember. I wasn't thinking right. I felt so bad." And then the respondent says, "Yeah, that's still illegal. She was a child," and that's him talking about fucking his sister.
Yeah, no, probably did.
So, I don't know who we're talking about, but
the potato guy. He changed his name. His name's Kitty Styles for me forever.
Am I saying that? Are you saying that siblings get into sexual stuff? Yeah, they do. Do I think it's?
Do you think it's okay?
No, they don't, Ben.
Siblings? When were siblings mentioned?
Siblings sometimes.
Well, he wanted me to get some proof out here, and here it is on my screen, on my stream, and so I just thought I would bring it up since he challenged me.
So you said I fucked my sister. Where do you read that?
Well, you can turn on the kill stream and read it right now yourself.
It's about the previous topic.
Okay.
You said a 16-year-old girl could be hot enough to attract you, right? Why not a 15-year-old or a 14-year-old girl? If a 16 one can, why would? Is there not a 14-year-old?
Ice cream full of arms.
Dude, you just casually said it. You got proof of that.
Well, I have more screenshots here if you'd like me to read through those.
But Ethan,
no, you said I fucked my sister specifically. Can you prove it?
But wait.
You said that. I mean, I don't know unless you were lying.
When?
Ethan, would you recognize that if someone said,
do you have proof of me saying that?
Well, yeah, I'm about to pull it up some more here if you'd like me to read some more
Why
passages.
Why do people think you've gone Lannister style on your sister? Why do people think that?
No.
Well, you could say what you want to say.
Well, I'll say this in your own words. Hold on, Shaggy. Let me read this. He says, I didn't do anything but touch her. I was merely a teenager myself. I didn't do anything against anyone's will. I taught her how to masturbate. I was ashamed of myself for 15 years and told her I felt bad about it many years ago. She said she forgave me, but she was angry. How can it be said in any way? Doesn't have to be lied about. It should never be talked about publicly. Well, you're the one who did that. He said, it's bad for her. They are just fucking retarded for digging. And then you said, I punished myself for doing bad. I hated myself for 15 years. Now, are those your words?
I don't know. You're reading it up to me.
You don't know.
Well, I mean, just say if they are or aren't. I mean,
but doesn't that sound like someone who basically is healthy?
Don't know.
Well,
no, Ben. What the fuck? Ben?
Not really, but
yes, but sure. In your worldview, Ben.
Well, but okay, but we could. But if someone said this happened and I endorse it, and I think it was terrific, that's far more concerning.
Well, he does seem to have some regret about it. Yeah, that's fair to say. But he should.
You said I fucked my sister.
He shouldn't have to spend the rest of his life on it, but it should be fucking investigated and looked at. Yeah, but it shouldn't follow.
Why should it be investigated? By whom should it be investigated?
The kill stream.
Investigate stuff like that. The kill stream.
By
okay, but everyone's talked about it for 6 years. So like.
Okay, well, maybe he's like in some sense doing what you, Ethan, and me have done.
I've never done that. By the way, I don't even have a sister.
Okay, but in some sense, to say like, yeah, mistakes happen. I'm happy to talk about them. And
well,
I don't
Ben, he's been pulling on my cake
man.
for quite a while now, talking shit. So he's kind of just getting what he deserves, honestly. So.
Okay, all right. Well, to me, it doesn't sound like something. It sounds like something that's better dealt with privately, and you could say you could say I would say the question.
Well, yeah, he's never should have said it in public, Ben. That's my thing. Like he's the one who said all.
Okay, and I don't know how that came about.
Yeah, why do you say it in public then?
Because you said it, and then you talk shit about me.
What are you talking about?
I mean, you've been talking shit about me for months.
Wait, you watch my stream?
No, but I hear everything. I
have why didn't you just call me and talk shit to me?
Well, I'd rather out you in public. It's more fun to embarrass you.
That's fine.
You seem really fine about it.
Ethan, I would differentiate between potato, and I only have limited, and that little man bun loser fucking Coop, and say I have respect for potato. I may not know him well enough, but I have respect for him. I think he's worthy of respect. unlike that man bun loser
You're
fucking
inverted reality, Ben. You say fucking your sister's healthy, and then are surprised that we think that something untoward.
Okay, and you're lying now.
That's not what he said,
no,
though.
you said that's healthy.
He didn't say that.
The guy who fucks his
No, you're just lying now. But dude, this is the hysteria. I think
that's what I thought I heard. I think
we need to have good men like Ethan, me, and Potato, and other men, kind of say like, "Shut the fuck up," because that's not what was said. Lying is not okay.
What did you?
Lying is not okay.
What did you say was healthy?
Here and explain it to you. Be fucking respectful. Get the fuck out of here. Go cry to someone else, or figure out whether you really want to be on this earth. Because the minimum here is to be a human being. If you're bantering, that's fine, but you're just lying. All right. So figure it out. But better yet, shut the fuck up. Now, I would like to talk to Ethan and say like, sure. Okay, yeah, you could question something about Potato, but your issue is what, that he talks shit about you?
Yeah, he's been trying to get my attention for quite some time now, and he was in the chat, so I just figured I'd bring up, his sister activity.
All right, but let me ask you this as a creator, because I had this thing with Andrew Wilson where I've been biting on him. In some ways, as a creator, it's okay to have people who are like trying to get your attention, right, and beefing with you, right? It actually works. Because like you got this guy Cog,
EP did and
who
just
like
gifted one subscription on
absolutely obsessed with you, and is in a
so
sense.
What about? I'm just doing a shot.
Secondary, right?
So no,
he's kind of doing you a favor. Like I don't know what
you're talking about. Stay on the point of what you're talking about. Stop invoking me, you rapist.
Okay, but so here you can see why I have no respect for this person, because he cries about being defamed. And then
you know what? I'll say one thing for Kitty Styles / Potato. He has much more composure than Brian Dunn. That's true. I'll say that.
Yeah, Brian Dunn is a fucking loser.
I agree with that.
Okay. See, we're working together as men. Potato, I don't know. Potato, are you really angry at Ethan, or are you just like
Nah. I think Ethan's funny.
Okay. So I don't think Potato's a real threat to you, Ethan. Do you feel like he is?
No.
Okay. So we've got peace. Now let's all jerk each other off and taste each other's
No.
So we don't want to get now. I think one of the other for men is that we never want to get into a state where it's like a men's support group, because that's not masculine, right? And like high-fiving and bro hugging and stuff like that on the internet, it's kind of gay. So I say we kick it around. But this is my issue, Ethan, is that there's a culture on the internet that I think we should.
Oh. Are you there, Ben? It cut out.
Say it again.
Yeah, you're cutting out.
Am I back?
Yeah, you are.
I don't know. I got bounced from my own server somehow. But and I think this contributes to a culture in which like the police get involved, and children and women are the ones who actually suffer the most from this, because I feel like as a man, I'm fairly grounded because I believe Jesse Lee Peterson that like we're sort of grounded in God, but women and children need strong men in their lives, and these laws, and these kind of things, and I don't see how that's not true. I would love to like ask the question, like, how is it that any of this makes any sense? I think, Ethan, you would say something like, it kind of makes sense. I kind of get it. And I wonder if you really do get it. For example, in your situation, I'm not trying to throw shade, but you're saying like, I think it's okay that if like, and tell me if I'm wrong, I'm trying to be respectful. If you have a substance abuse problem and you're living with a woman and children, but you don't cross the line of making that problem your kid's problem by abusing them, that I don't really see why the law should come in and separate you from your children who need you very much, warts and all. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, and I can't talk about any specific situation.
No, I know. I'm just talking generally.
Yeah, I mean,
if a man's an alcoholic, I don't think that's like automatic DQ for him being a spouse and a father living with his family.
Yeah, and again, I can't talk about my specific situations, but in theory, I agree there should be a high bar for police to get involved, or like the courts to get involved, because once they're involved forever, as you've seen with yourself, right? Like they don't go away once you're in the system.
You know how this is like controversial. Do you know how the Russian Federation in 2017 decided they were going to delineate where the state gets involved?
No, I don't actually.
Well, in domestic violence, they say when there is hospitalization, in other words, a serious injury, then the state will get involved. Other than that, you're on your own. And I think that makes a lot of sense because, to me, like as a theologian, right, the Catholic faith would recognize there are two natural spheres and all other ones that are consensual, but like the family is a natural unit which should be respected, and the state is another natural unit which should be respected. And the state doesn't have unlimited rights to overrule the legitimate rights of a family. For example, if the state determines that like for example, this thing about transitioning, right? The question can become, does the state have a right to overrule a parent's decision about a minor who wants to cut his dick off, right? And I think the answer is obviously no. That is a parental decision, if it even should be allowed at all. And sex education and education in general, all that kind of stuff. Like, I think we've lost a sensibility, largely in the West, that parents have legitimate rights, and that for better or worse, God has put their children into their hands. And if it's not good, it's not good, but it only gets worse if the state now plays the role of being everyone's parent. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's a legit
I understand
concern.
what you're saying. Yeah.
Like, if two spouses have a certain relationship that they agree to, and other people can certainly question whether that's good, but I don't think the state has a right to say, like, I don't like your style of being married to each other. And I think that would go pretty much for any adults up until the line where, there's like an obvious thing. Like if you're playing Russian roulette with another adult, I do think the state should come in and go, like, that's crazy. This is insane. And, someone needs to be accounted for. But if a father raises his voice towards his children, or even uses physicality in doing so, what right does the state have to question that and determine whether his parenting style is legal or illegal? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, you raised some good points. I think there should be a high bar for the state to get involved.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with that. I've kind of said that myself. And then once you get involved, like I said, it never ends. It'll be a lifelong thing, or decades-long thing. And so that's kind of what I was talking to you about earlier with your case here. And then, you got the other stuff with your wife. Somebody said y'all were getting divorced. I don't know if that's true or not. But it's just like a snowball type thing. Just use the callback there. Not that same type of snowball, but...
what happened, Century Joe's in U.S. been where we can't find his mugshot?
But I think a lot of it be just worked out by people working them out within a relationship. Say that girl who gave me the snowball. Like, I spat it out and was like, what the fuck, bitch? But, I kind of, like, I don't need the police involved. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really understand it. But you could see if that was in reverse, something that I did to her as a man sexually, that was kind of like that. It's normal for us to think in our society that she could call the police and they should get involved, right? Like, say something a little non-consensual, like whatever. There's not any number of things. And I just think that what we end up having is a legal system which is just straight up misandrist. It is anti-male. And the idea could be like, oh, fuck men. Okay, but who you really fuck are children and women who depend on men. So I think we have like a major, major problem. And I'm sick of living in a society like that, because basically what it is if a woman or a bitch like Ride, who's not really a man, gets angry, then real men start going to jail. And the men who put them in jail shrug their shoulders and go, what can you do? The system sucks. And I think that very easily becomes a completely crazy society.
Also, I had and I don't look. I agree. I don't really disagree with all that. Now it's a little off topic from. Of course, the whole thing's been off topic, so whatever. But yeah. I did have a super chat here, and I guess they're looking for your mugshot. I don't know if they took a mugshot or how that's available.
Well, they took a mugshot. The cop, these cops know me pretty well, but he couldn't get the camera working, and I told him, the last mugshot I used on my Tinder account, and like he didn't hear me at first. He's like, "What? Seriously?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "You wouldn't believe the bitches out there. They love shit like that." You know, and he just sort of laughed.
It's true.
The girls like the bad boy. This is another aspect of these women. A lot of this stuff they do with the cops actually, I think, is a form of BDSM. Lav is into BDSM, obviously. If she came over here, which she somehow, for some reason, suggested doing, that she's going to live over here, I told her I wouldn't let her do. Yeah, she suggested that she come live with me. And
isn't she married?
Not anymore.
I don't think that's
put it in quotes. Put it in quotes.
Yeah.
You know what she said about it? You know what she said about her whatever? She said when he gets a boner and pushes it up against her, that she can feel free to go like, no, nigga. We're not doing that. In other words, for her, sex is completely optional and she's totally in control. He has no rights whatsoever to make any sort of, that she doesn't have any obligation to respond to him sexually. And that's why she comes on the internet with me and wants me to talk dirty with her and tell her exactly what I'm going to do with her, because that's an unhealthy relationship. Do you agree with that?
That sounds very unhealthy, yeah. Does she do that? Has she gotten off to your sex talk? Is that...
She begged me for dick pics and she did dirty talk with me. I don't know whether she actually flicked her bean to it, but did I get her pussy wet? Absolutely. Did she deny it when I told her she did? Absolutely not. And she does, she does this BDSM thing with me, which is fine. But I have a problem with bitches who bring the cops into their BDSM, because that's part of the whole game, isn't it? I don't know whether I kind of like it or what, but like, it doesn't seem fair to kids that when a woman wants to do BDSM, including cops with guns and all this shit, which I'm not into, whether kids should have to be deprived of their father, or whether that's also a form of kind of family BDSM. It seems to me at a certain point where we should say, like, this shit's crazy. Kids need their father, and a woman who just like can't stop with their obsession, she should be taken in and thrown into a jail of some sort.
Is she still here, by the way? Is she going to answer to any of this, or
who?
Lav.
No, she's gone.
She's off getting her face.
Yeah, she left.
Because she hates the fact that she's getting older. Like many women, she sees time as her enemy, because she thinks her only value is her sexual value in her relationship with her quote unquote husband. I think women should age gracefully and pivot away from the power of youthful sexuality into the dignity of a woman who's getting a little bit older. But bitches like her, she told me she thinks that Elon Musk or some sort of technologist is going to keep her pussy tight until she's 80 years old. I don't think that's going to happen. Sweet. I don't think anyone thinks that's about to happen. But her whole entire
objection, Ben. This is irrelevant.
Okay.
Just be crazy.
This whole conversation was off topic. How do you like?
It did get off topic a little, yeah.
Yeah, like
my question is how it is okay for how this society isn't absolutely batshit crazy.
You're right about that.
The situation I'm in right now.
You're right.
I think the biggest problem you have right now is that you still have to figure out how to cohabitate with this demon daughter that you have. What are you gonna do?
Well, I can't cohabitate.
You have to say can't legally right now. Yeah.
Even after you work that out, I mean, she can go to the court and she can get it.
Yeah, but are you living in the garage downstairs?
But then you still got that demon and you're haunting you.
And man,
are you living in the garage?
You can trade her to me for my old SUV. I'll trade her for an SUV.
An old SUV?
Yeah, you can. I'll take Grace. You can have the SUV.
Okay, but like, here's another rule. Like, if you're gonna say something that's kind of edgy, make it funny. That's just stupid. It makes no sense.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny.
Well, what's the make and model? What year is it?
It's funny. Hear anyone laugh?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay, so maybe learn a lesson, and next time, maybe spit work it out in a way and like find some other friends and go like, is this funny, and work on.
No, you're right, Ben. I'm not nearly as funny as you. I'm sorry.
Shaggy's an acquired taste. You have to sort of lean into it a bit.
Sorry about. I'm just saying, like, maybe you have a humiliation fetish and you say stupid things so you can get smacked down. And now I'm playing into that. But all right, let's move on. The issue is, big tech.
Well, Grace admitted she's the fault. She admitted she's the reason why you got real mad, and the shove with the foot, and you were kind of like out of your mind for a few hours before that, and she admits that it was her fault.
Right, and she's right to do that.
So what's the remedy for that? What do we do there?
Well, I think our actual problem was that the Jesse Lee Peterson, and Ethan knows it as well. The Jesse Lee Peterson formula is like forgive your mother, then forgive your father. The problem that used to happen. So if Grace is very, very angry from what her mother did to her, I think that makes a lot of sense. You wouldn't believe what her mother did to her. Okay, for the crime of being pretty. Okay, right. And so she did forgive her mother. And then she had trouble forgiving me because she had been co-opted in being kind of like a surrogate parent for my kids. And she kind of was unclear about whether for example, just today, she got a call. My youngest son had a fever and was in school. And the nurse in school couldn't get a hold of Grace's mother because she's so incompetent that she didn't update her phone number. So Grace had to answer the phone and inform the nurse of her mother's updated number. Okay.
How did you find out about this? You read about it on Facebook or something? Because I'm sure Grace didn't tell you.
Grace didn't tell me that. No, I heard it from somebody who told me.
Right. For the record.
Nudge, nudge.
So, right. So you can see how crazy it gets, right? So, all right. So
I got your back, dog.
Does Grace have the obligation to do that on her mother's behalf?
Yeah, no, it should. Nope. Incompetent mom, jail.
There was some guy.
Well, I mean, isn't it? If she said your father can't be part of your life because we're all victims, and your older sister, who has basically taken care of you and been the competent female quasi-parent, is going to be accused of crimes when she actually helps you. Like when we found my son wandering the streets at 11 o'clock at night of a pretty rough area of town, trying to get some food for himself.
Wait, the Chinese place is right down the street from Courtney's house. Like, what is it, like a 2-minute walk?
Okay, Artie, let's go here. Do you think an 11-year-old boy should be left alone with no adult supervision?
Wait, Charlie picked him up from the basketball game.
Not with the Shabatonis around, am I right?
Dropped him off.
And it's hours. Do you think that an 11-year-old boy is competent to be left alone in a house for hours and hours, and also to not be given enough food that...
Wait, no. I believe the story was Joey got sent money from Courtney to get Chinese food because he asked for it.
Yeah, I think he had money for Chinese food.
Yeah. He said, like, can I get this? And she said yes.
And he's
I don't know. You're the parent.
I'll ask you the question again.
Like 11 years old? Yeah, at 11 years old, he could be left alone.
He's like, I was fucking walking around town at 11. Like, what's the problem?
Yeah, I was too. I didn't clarify his question.
Okay, I mean, yeah, you could argue for it or against it, but I think that's too young to be left alone, and also to be given money to on foot go and procure food for yourself. And the Chinese restaurant was closed by the time he went there.
Well, Ben, can I ask
It'd
you
be
something?
better if he had two parents.
It's different for you.
He was full of chicken nuggies by that time.
No, wait. Let me ask you something. It's totally it's related to this whole conversation, but not this particular part about the jail stuff and all that. Grace was alluding to having done something terrible, I guess, to you or lied to
2
you
days ago.
the day before.
Very embarrassing.
Yeah, but I never know what that is. I never heard what that is. Now you don't have to tell me, but it's. She seemed like.
Did she not pay the storage bill then?
It's kind of an interesting. I'm not going to go into the details.
That's fine. I understand.
something private, but it was something which, in it, you could say, like, in one sense, not a big deal, but in another sense, like, super jeopardized everything in our lives. And I think she did it. Sometimes people, as a way, like, who are really, really troubled, will do something like that to kind of force themselves to stop doing something. You know what I mean? Like, they do something so crazy as almost a way of saying to themselves, like, I got to stop this. Because I've been saying to her for years and years and years, like, you're doing crazy things and you just keep on doing them. So I actually think, it was in a sense virtuous, like what she did. But it's super crazy when your mind has been sort of like shot, because things have been so crazy. A lot of times you go with your emotions and your appetites, and it's kind of going on instinct, and it's very risky, and it could be very dangerous to do that. But sometimes that's the right thing to do. I don't know, like, sometimes you got to go on gut. And
why are you so
like, for
vague about
example,
this Ben, compared to everything
I
else?
have no idea what it might be.
Very
What the
vague
fuck
on
are we
this.
talking
And
about?
like, did she cut herself or try and kill herself or something? That's what people were saying.
yeah, sometimes people do that sort of stuff, like as a cry for help, or even as a way of saying to themselves, like, it's tricky, but I think it's part of, like, human experience, that sometimes people do things that are really bad just to kind of, I don't know, just to kind of, like, say to themselves, like, this is what I'm doing. Let me stop pretending I'm doing something else.
Last thing,
And
Ben, it's important. Last thing, I promise, and I'll shut up for a long time. But Lev offered her, like, to pay for a therapy. I really think you should really take that offer, honestly. Especially if she's hurting herself.
she didn't make an offer to me, so I'm not sure why you're appealing to me.
She would. She'd remake the offer to you to encourage Grace to take the therapist that she's offering to pay for. I think it's a good offer.
Yeah, I think Grace's criticism of Lab is that she's actually a controlling abuser who has this veneer of charity. Why doesn't she just give Grace money if she wants to support her?
She wouldn't spend it on that. It's like a homeless person. But do
All
you
right, well,
think
here's the
that
question.
therapy?
Why didn't
do you think therapy? I'll answer that question. But do you think therapy would benefit Grace? Like, I think it'd help her. So it's not all on you.
It's not a matter of thinking. You can ask the question objectively. Does therapy help people? And the answer is largely no.
Not even worth trying for Grace then, when she's in a pretty bad position.
Yeah, it kind of comes back to the question of, like, even after you get the legal thing worked out, you still got to deal with Grace and the condition.
She's saying she's in a bad position. You're saying she's in a bad position.
She's in a bad position because of a legal situation. How's a therapist? Doesn't she need a lawyer?
Well, it could even help. Yeah, both. Yeah, a therapist could even help you with a legal situation. Sure.
Well, here's the problem with therapy. Do you not understand the problem with therapy?
It has
problems. A therapist is someone who's paid to listen to your problems. Now, if someone listens to your problems and gives you a genuine response, that could be valuable. Why is it that therapists are generally not going to give you an honest response? Because they're in business, right? Are they in business to make?
You're paying them.
Okay.
Enable
How do you make the most money as a therapist? You keep people stuck in their problems, right? And that's a difficulty with the way therapy is set up. That's why priests should play the role of therapists, because a priest can say the truth to someone and his money is not affected by it. It needs to be.
Does the doctor treat someone's cough or infection? Like, that makes no sense.
Yep. That's a really good point. Okay, so during COVID, let's go there. Let's go full third rail. During COVID, doctors were highly incentivized to push a certain therapeutic over other therapeutics, right? And they were highly incentivized financially because they're running a business. Now, does that put doctors in a position where they're choosing between them as business people and them as healers? It absolutely does. Do you think
most priests want you to come back to church too? I mean, I think the same incentive is there.
And actually, do you know where the original hospitals were? You know who set up the original hospitals?
Catholics.
The church set up the original hospitals, and there is a certain benefit to having people who are dedicated to the religious life do certain things in society, because you could say overall they're sort of dependent on the public supporting them, But moment by moment, when I used to teach in a Catholic school and there were still some brothers there, the brothers could kind of do whatever the fuck they wanted, which can be dangerous, but they had a certain freedom in talking, for example, with parents. They could tell the parents, like, fuck you. And they weren't going to lose their job necessarily. Even public school teachers have much more, because of the unions, much more like protection. Whereas if you're a lay person teaching, you've got to really pander to parents because any one of them can get you fired, and several of them tried to get me fired.
That's true. You get up in a little bit here, but there's two things to respond to. Like, doctors could make a lot of money selling like prescriptions on the side illegally, but they don't all do that. So that lead me to ask you, like, do you think
most of them are
good
hired by a
therapists?
company?
All right,
There
all
are
right,
no
all
good,
right,
no
all right,
good,
all
no
right.
good therapists, Ben.
Do you think that doctors who prescribe ADD medication are basically just drug pushers, and they know that this won't solve this kid's problems?
Perhaps that's why I'm asking. Yeah, I agree with parts of what you're saying, but it doesn't lead me to think there are no good doctors, there are no good therapists. Which
No,
is
I think they are.
No, but
They are.
most doctors are not going to get paid
let's get
more
Grace
by
a good one then.
prescribing ADHD. Most doctors are not going to get paid more by prescribing it.
Fair enough.
There are. I do believe doctors are conflicted.
Labs offered to. Sorry for interrupting you, but Labs offered to get her a therapist. They're a good therapist. If she got a good therapist to help.
Well,
her,
I wouldn't want Labs therapist judging by what she's saying.
I will say this: that Ben's not keen on therapy, but on last night's show, someone suggested that Grace seems to get on with quite well. That she should get an exorcism. What are your thoughts on that, Ben? He was like saying you're a demon.
She did. I mean, not an exorcist. I don't think she has. Demonic possession is actually a very, very specific thing. It's not when I'm saying she's a daughter of the devil, I don't mean she's literally possessed by a demon. That's actually a very specific thing. The church has very strict rules. The vast majority of people who are presented as having demonic possession do not qualify. But there is such a thing as demonic possession, which is why nobody should fuck around with Ouija boards and shit like that, because it does happen. If you invite the devil into your soul, he may take you up on the offer, but usually he acts through things like envy and the normal in this kind of non-possessed.
So this guy seemed to be ringing up being your ball washer, but you disavow his idea that you're going to get Grace an exorcism. Because he was pretty insistent on it. He was like, go see go to confession, go get an exorcism.
Well, there's something called a simple exorcism, which, as Catholics, we say at the Easter Mass, I renounce the devil, the father of lies, and all of his lies, or something like that. Anyone can do that.
They do that.
And all of his work. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you can do that. You can also sit there with Latin books like a retard and pretend you're doing a self-exorcism. But it's just stupid shit. I mean, I don't think I did I did the same thing with Grace's mother, a simple exorcism, and
you gave Courtney an exorcism.
Well, I had her,
Was this with the bell, Ben?
Don't interrupt the story. Let's hear. I want to hear about this. I want to hear about Courtney's exorcism. Let's go, Ben.
On Ben.
Yeah, and we also tried to use physical, punishment as a way to, possibly inspire something less crazy to go on. But, she's a tough one. The devil's got his hooks in her. And
was this when Grace was whipping her with a belt? Was that what it was?
I believe that's what happened. Yeah.
And on a little bit more serious, like in a more direct way, could you give any idea? You've had a couple of days to think about it, and we're identifying Grace as like the real reason why you were kind of like freaking out. And do you have any kind of strategy in mind, like how you're going to fix this issue? Like even after you get the legal issue remedied, and you're back together, and you guys are still in a streaming partnership, how are we going to like keep this from happening again?
Yeah, I mean, here's the saving grace of all these laws is that it's kind of like, like there are laws against public indecency, public urination, things like that. Okay,
I don't mean the kick. I don't mean like keep the kick from happening again, but like what about that cycle we've seen you guys in many times where you're like really like kind of like losing your cool and having a real bad time of it.
Bro, you're boring as fuck.
You know what I mean?
Well, she did that yesterday. She Well, I was saying about the Jesse Lee Peterson thing. So it was sort of about her relationship with her siblings. I think she did resolve that. But the very last was whether she's a victim of streaming, because it was unclear when we came on the internet. I sort of dragged her by the hair onto the internet, and then she dragged her mother on, and then her mother dragged her brother on, and it was never resolved really, like whether she was freely doing this or not, because it was so crazy. And so I think if Grace can get some resolution on that, which I encouraged her to do you were there, Big Tech, the last time I was able to freely speak with my daughter without threat of imprisonment. I was encouraging her to, have a more kind of fan audience relationship with the people in her chat. Like I'm doing with these losers here, where I smack them down and tell them not to do it. Right. I think she's inherited her mother's kind of. Her mother used to run. We used to run Airbnbs as a family, and her mother we'd often find out that her mother was like paying them to stay, because if they had any little complaint, she would actually like comp everything, and so they'd be staying there for free because she was so afraid of other people. But really, it was just a complete lack of social skills and maturity. You shouldn't be running a business if you're not making money off the business. But she would never, she would, for example, only contact them as me. She would never just she was just totally incompetent. She was incapable of running a business in any way, shape, or form, though she exhausted me so much that I couldn't run it. And, this is the kind of insanity that was handed down to Grace. So I think Grace has largely got there. I think when she told Lab that she was a manipulating whore, basically, and then told Stardust that she was a Hindu pimple that should be popped, I think, she's starting to get it.
She said that? I didn't hear that. Wow.
I agree. I agree, Ben. And she did really,
I loved what
really well.
Grace did on that, and I'm not talking to her, but what she did a reverse Jesse Lee Peterson on Stardust, because she said, "Do you love men and their penises?" And Stardust went, "I love men, but penises are gross." She said, "Do you love men and their penises?" And eventually Stardust said, "I love men, but I think their penises are gross." And she just went off on her. I think it's really hard for a woman who says, like, I don't like, you could say it's vulgar or whatever, but like every woman should say, I love dicks. And if they have a problem saying that, there's a huge problem, because what are you saying? Really, you hate half the human race. And really, what's a vagina for except to receive dick? So, I mean, the whole sexuality is thrown in the garbage when you do that. So it was kind of brilliant, I thought, on her part.
So I was listening for it. I'm not hearing. I don't know. Are you giving thought to this? It doesn't sound like you have it figured out yet. But what are you gonna do? How are you gonna fix this situation where like Grace?
I think she largely solved that problem. I don't know. There may be like some.
Grace solved the problem.
Well, and I actually think this like separation between the two of us is good, because she's going to have to be on her own too. And like, I think that she's setting up something. I heard this, just someone was talking about it, that she's setting up a conversation with Lauren De Laguna, who claims, and I think does have some law background about how these laws make any sense.
No, not the legal problem though, Ben. Like the way that you get real mad at Grace and it's her fault. Like, how are you going to stop doing that?
Yeah, it's because she plays victim.
Laguna.
So how are you going to get her past that?
A lie, by the way. I don't know if she knows.
So I think she stopped. So I think she stopped playing.
That's
victim.
your daughter, though.
She stopped playing victim after you got arrested?
Yeah, I do think it actually was sobering for her to watch that. Even though in some sense it wasn't her fault.
Do you think some distancing is good, Ben? Just
like I said, I think as a streamer, I think it's going to be great for her to have some amount of time where she has to stand on her own 2 feet.
Right.
1 second. When was it sobering for her?
I would think it was sobering that her, this is sort of game she plays, playing the victim, caused me to go to jail.
So you think she'll stop now because that happened?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a part of the internet in that too, like the sector, if you will.
Yeah, I understand, and the police and all the rest, but like,
There's a Ben part, there's a Grace part, and there's a Sector part, or Internet part. I don't know what the fuck you want to call it.
Well, I mean, the essential problem is if she in some sense wants to be a partner with me as a streamer and as a human being, she can't be constantly trying to attack me in subtle ways and undermine everything I'm doing while claiming to want to do that. And so that, yeah, I think that's
otherwise you're going to get mad and start nitpicking her about like where she's looking for the head and what words she's using. And
well, I mean, I think that would just be common sense. Anyone who is saying let's do something together and is subtly undermining what you're doing, wouldn't the other person say, what the fuck?
Yeah, but she doesn't use common sense. She's like demonic, right? Or not demonic, but she's like her father's the devil, and she's got like mommy unforgiveness issues, and so she's gonna like do it to you again. How are you gonna keep yourself from falling into that cycle where you eventually want to like shove it with your foot?
Assuming that women can't overcome the hell that their mother gave them.
Point out the big tech just slipped in. Father's the devil.
Are we at exorcisms now?
Well, no, that was what Ben said. I'm just saying that Jesse Lee Peterson said.
Father's not the devil. A mother's the devil.
No, not Ben. Her spiritual father is her spiritual father's the devil.
Yeah. I mean, it's extreme language, but I do think it's. I do think like if you don't take it as like this kind of like horror movie kind of thing, like you're worshiping the devil. I do think it is actually like that's the Christian patrimony to say that. We're either children of the light or children of the darkness, and women are not excluded from that, and neither are children excluded
so
from
the
that.
common sense, like the rationality of like, oh, I want to work together with my dad and I want to have a partnership in streaming, so I better not do this stuff to him. That's going to go out the window because she's got like a deep spiritual, emotional anger issue that's going to cause her to undermine you, and then you're going to feel pressed, and you're going to end up in the spiral of like.
Well, you're saying that like in the future tense, it will cause her to do that, but it has certainly caused her to do that, and
yeah,
I've kind of said to her like, you have to stop this, and I've been incredibly patient, but at a certain point,
that's what I'm wondering. Like, is there something we can do to like get her to knock it off?
Look, who cares?
Or are you just hoping, like, is it like fingers crossed that now that you got arrested?
Yeah,
well, I do think the remedy for this type of situation is extremely forceful, presentation of the reality of what this person is doing. Yeah.
This is becoming a little bit philosophical. What are we saying, Ben? Russia or court on Friday? Come on, bro.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to ask about Friday. So is it your arraignment on Friday? If it is, I mean, they'll probably extend the no contact order, I would imagine.
What they're going to do on Friday is they're going to hit me. They're going to say, like they did last time, you really should get a lawyer. And I'm going to go, just like I did last time. I understand the legal situation. I do not want to have a lawyer. I didn't do anything wrong. They'll say, well, we'll give you 2 weeks to think about that. During which time I am not allowed. I live 30 minutes. I live like 200 feet from the Massachusetts border. So I'm effectively a prisoner of the state of Rhode Island. I can't even get to court without going through Massachusetts. It's the smallest state in the union.
Don't come here. We're full.
Excuse me?
I said, please don't come here. We're full.
Okay, maybe you could wait.
And everybody laughed.
Anyway, Ben, continue.
But then they extend it. So this is what happened last time. It's this fucking rigmarole. Then you come back and you go, yeah, I didn't get a lawyer. I mean, I could get one appointed by the state because I'm technically penurious at this point. But then they'll have me try to make a plea deal where I take like a year, where they put it on a shelf and it's there for a year, but I have to go.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Right. And I'm going to say no to that. And then they're going to say, well, you should take some time to think about that. I mean, it's all fucking BDSM. I want to be that nigga who jumped up and attacked the judge. Remember that guy? He just took a leaping jump at the judge. And I'd like to go down like that. That is a true nigga.
Let's go.
Ben, don't say
please do it.
Please. I want you to be the N-word too, my man. I don't need to say N-word because I'm on the kill stream.
Yes, thank you for that, by the way.
That's nigga shit.
All right, but
wait, Ben. So just to get your point about how do you stop this kind of cycle that Grace has, where she, off stream, she's like this demon-like figure, where she's torturing you and tormenting
He's not
you.
going to do anything. He's just going to like hope that he's fingers crossed it's going to get better.
They can. I mean, we're just here to talk about the drama. Like, I don't. What is this? Like,
we're really interested in this stuff.
I mean, people get their shit together or don't. Like, I mean, I don't know. People are talking like they're.
I do think.
Just because you don't have a soul because you took too much Xanax.
Shut up! Stop fucking your sister. You're still mad about that.
We still have a soul.
You don't have a soul. You fucked your sister. You sick fuck.
I'm sorry you lost your soul.
You should hang yourself from a ceiling beam.
I'm sorry that
you should never speak online.
The rest of us, we still have a soul.
You fucked your sister, Kitty Styles. Just shut the fuck up.
That's what a soulless person would say.
You fucked
That's what
your
a soulless
sister.
creature would say.
You fucked your sister.
Well, I do think we've all been trying to figure out, like, how do we get Grace to, like, stop doing the thing off stream, whatever she does. We don't know exactly what she does, but we know that she torments Ben, and it's like this demonic thing.
Ben, have you thought about getting her blood baptized at a church?
Ben, nobody really cares about you or Grace. Like, I'm just telling you the truth. These people are on here moral fagging. Nobody fucking cares. They're pontificating like they give a fuck. It's just for content. Nobody gives a fuck. Ben, yes, it is the truth. It is the truth. This is all for public consumption. Like, it's just ridiculous.
You know, Ethan, let me explore this a little bit. I do think that's largely the truth. I do think we're basically in the realm of entertainment, and I don't think that.
Yeah,
I don't think
that's true. That's true.
I don't use words like community. My community. It's not a community. A community is not a community if you could just press a button and you're not part of the community. There's more to community than that. But I do think people become personally invested, mostly in a totally unhealthy way, laying out their.
The Thorp content is very nuanced. We are super connected parasocially with their emotional.
I think a lot of people see similarities in their own familial relationships. So I do think it can have.
I mean, are there one or two people who really care? Yeah, I think so. But like, it's for the most part, like all this talk, like I don't know. I mean, you have to handle that stuff in private, right? Like advice from people on the internet. Like this is on my stream. Other people are streaming this. Like nobody really.
Well, no, I'm just trying to figure out like Ben's approach here is like he said that the way you solve that is by pointing it out and kind of like exposing it to Grace.
Yeah, which you were the guy who did it with Grace, right? Yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm trying to like, is that the only? Yeah, sorry.
We call this guy Ride 2, Ben. So just a head up.
No, who's
way to.
No, I'm thinking the reason a guy like this gets shamed is because they'll go, "Oh, you're a simp," right? And he'll go, "I'm not a simp for Grace. I think Grace sucks." And then they'll go, "Oh, you're a Ben ball washer," and I think that's also not true. Ride was a Ben ball washer. He tried to talk about how big my dick was to other people. I was like, nigga, thank you. No. But I actually think Grace should suck this guy's dick.
Let's go. Suck Map's dick.
Let's go. Because the problem with me and her has been, you know, that I'm her father and people have all these questions. But I think she should rely on other men. And I understand with your audience, you got to be really careful, and people or whatever. But I think she should be able to identify, because it's the problem with her and me is she thinks like I'm the only good guy in the universe, and her mother had the same problem. And there are other good men, and I think.
I mean, also, I know Cop Blocker, Map for co-host. Let's go, baby. I mean, she has to ask herself as a creator.
There are a lot of good men living out of vans in the jail cells. That's correct. There's a lot of men just like you that they could get with, Ben. I'm glad you're giving them that.
How much ice cream can you fit in your ass, Shaggy, though? That's what really.
Yeah, you fucking asshole. Yeah. You ever heard of Jesus Christ? Yeah.
I'm a Mormon. Yes, I belong to the true church. Not that Catholic bullshit.
Yeah, he was homeless, and the apostles were
all rich coming from a Mormon.
Martyred, right? So the idea that there were good men who were persecuted. Yes.
Well, no, the salvation happened not on the cross. It happened in the Garden of Gethsemane. Your church is full of shit, my friend.
Oh, now we're gonna do. I'm not doing this thing.
You know, it was suggested to me, Ben, that you versus Mormon Shaggy.
Is a sex cult. Shut up.
Wait. It was suggested to me that you versus Mormon Shaggy would be a good debate, and then I said, "Well, Ben's in jail, but you're out now, so." I don't know.
I'm happy to debate.
Yeah, me versus the Hills Have Eyes.
Well, why don't we just do it now? I mean.
All right, yeah.
Let's go, baby. Let's do it.
Why Catholicism? That's my question. How did you get involved in Catholicism? Why Catholicism?
Okay, hold on a second. trying to figure out who am I talking to? Someone named Mormon Shaggy.
Some random asshole.
Mormon
I'm a
Shaggy.
random asshole. I am completely irrelevant. I am an irrelevant, useless asshole. Don't worry about me. I'm a loser. Why Catholicism?
Okay, but can I just? What do I call you, Shaggy?
I'll just say this. I'll just say this. He's underselling himself. Shaggy's underselling.
King
himself.
Shaggy.
Okay, Shaggy. What's the question?
Why Catholicism? Why do you? First off, were you born into it, and why do you? What is your emotional investment in it? You seem to really.
1994.
Sorry.
I converted
Maybe because
to
it's the true church.
I formally converted in 19.
Okay, so I'm a convert too. So that's good. I'm just trying to get where you're coming from before I start questioning. My main thing, my fixation, my neurosis is religious shit. All right, I love to talk about religion. That's my thing. So if you don't enjoy that, this is going to be a boring fucking conversation for you.
No, me too. I have a master's degree in theology, so I pursued.
Great. We should. I actually agreed with a lot of what you were saying.
Wait. Hold on a minute. I shouldn't need to do this. Let's set a ground rule that when I'm talking, you don't start talking, and when you're talking, I don't start talking unless it's absolutely necessary. How about that?
Yeah, that's fair enough. I have a bit of difficulty with that, so I'll mute myself when you talk. Okay.
Whatever you need to do. I'm just saying.
That's. I'm just being honest. I've got a bit of. It's because my thoughts are running like always, like really fast, man.
Do you have no self-control? You have no self-control.
I have self-control. That's why I'm gonna mute myself. Anyway, it's just more hard for me to remember what I want to say. But no, I'm not a perfect.
We could set up an official.
You're still doing it right now.
Do it. I mean, I was just
like a mistake
now, but
no, I'm just saying. Look, I'll be respectful. I'll be respectful of what Ben's asking. Sure, I don't have a problem with that. I just I just got a bunch of questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, but I just have to pursue this a little bit. You're saying you're the victim of your impulses and you can't control yourself, or you can control yourself and you will?
You can't, Ben.
Yeah, I'm a total fucking retard. Absolutely. Massive spastic.
Okay, so then I don't want to talk to someone who's going to act completely irrational.
Well, no, I will.
He is not. He'll be rational, but rational. He's kind of retarded.
He's just kidding. Totally rational. I'm not going to be a dick.
Fine. Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, first off, what led you to Catholicism? Why specific? Was it just the rule of cool? Because I'll be honest, Catholics have like the coolest shit. We all know the Catholics have the coolest shit. But what specifically led you to that church when you decided to convert? Because for me, I had a religious experience that led me to the Mormon church. I'm not going to get into that. Was it that way with you? Did you have like a specific experience where God in some way led you to that church?
Noseberg 33 cent $5.
You could say in a sense I read my way into the Catholic Church. So I studied religion as an undergraduate. I studied comparative religions, and I came to see that the Catholic Church is the one true church. I mean, it's true. I don't know. It's true.
What is your opinion on the Gnostics? What is your opinion on the Gnostics?
The Gnostics attempted to blend Christianity with a dualistic, Hellenistic, philosophical understanding that's totally not compatible with Christianity.
Is there any value in your view with their teachings?
Yeah, the value of all error, which shows us its error.
Okay. So, do you believe in scriptural inerrancy, that the scripture cannot be wrong, that it is the definitive word of God without error or, misinterpretation?
Misinterpretation? That the scripture doesn't have an interpretation.
No, but it's been translated many times.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I believe the Catholic view of biblical inerrancy, which is nuanced, but yeah.
Fair enough. I understand enough about that, but I don't agree with that. I just point that, but just state that I think that I just don't find that to be. But anyway,
well, if you want to get into that, you can.
No.
Could you not instead? Could you just not get into that? Because this is fucking bad.
Yeah. Do you? Well, again, this was not going to be like a really fiery debate.
Yeah, yes, shit idea.
Like,
This is a
you asked me to
poor,
like talk
poor
to this
Ralph
guy
stream.
about like
Poor kill stream viewers, man.
Oh my God, Mormon, are you trying to kill us?
I don't know. You guys wanted
Oh,
a
I
religious debate.
maybe like
I don't know this man. I've avoided his content largely because like it just didn't seem to be my source. So I'm not an expert on Ben Thorp. I don't know his religious beliefs. I have to ask him all this shit. I have to actually find out what his religious beliefs are before I
Three
can debate
people
him on it.
care. He has no viewers for this. Nobody gives a shit about this.
Yeah, no one gives a shit about this. Like, why are we doing this?
Well, maybe if we do one, we should hype it up. I think people would like to see it, but off the cuff, I don't know. Maybe it won't work.
People are the ultimate questions. Anyways, maybe Mormon or Mr. Shaggy, whatever you are, you could just kind of try to shoot your shot like real quick on something interesting, and then we'll pursue that instead of this like roundabout thing.
Yeah. What's your opinion on polygamy? I think it's the only way to save the white race.
All right.
My opinion is the opinion of my Lord and Savior, who said that a man should take one woman.
Christ had 3 wives.
What?
Christ had 3 wives and a lot of kids. The Catholics killed his actual descendants to establish their own church.
Okay, well, so I don't know how to respond to that because there's no evidence of that.
I mean, like there is, but the Catholics burned most of it because they had a long time to do it. But no, there is evidence that
probably a different story than
the existence of the Gnostics and the various teachings is the evidence that Christ had children. Many of those groups said that they were the students of one of Christ's children. It's also
and those texts were proven to be written centuries after the original texts of the New Testament. So, yes, they claimed all sorts.
Who proved that? The Catholics proved that. I mean, I'd have to see which text you're referring to specifically. I mean,
well, you could look into that stuff, which is why there are resources available. And if you looked into that stuff,
Gnosticism predate Catholicism.
Wait. Let me finish my sentence. If you looked into that stuff and had an open mind about it, I think you would find that the overwhelming historical evidence, even critical evidence, would agree that this is true. It's like Adam Green level shit. You're just speculating. I don't know.
Well, we're talking about ancient history, and neither of us are historians. But it seems to me that
that's
the
not
Gnostics
true.
predate the
Master's
Catholic
degree in
Church.
theology with a specialization in church history. So you're wrong about that.
I don't give a shit. I'm ordained by the true church. I'm a Latter-day Saint.
Okay, but
so
you
all
said neither of us are experts. You are not an expert. I am an expert.
I do not regard you as an expert. You're a Catholic.
Okay, so then what's an expert? What's an expert?
Mormon.
Okay, so
you're
then
a Mormon.
Use the term expert. You mean Mormon.
Look, I as I see it, if Christ is a real God, you should be able to have an actual relationship with him. He's not something you should need to study and get a master's degree in.
I do have an actual relationship with him.
Right, then you shouldn't need to rely on a bunch of shit from a college that's run by liberals.
And that's why we should believe in potatoism. Now shut the fuck up.
And there it is.
Well, what is potatoism? Why don't you explain what potatoism
It involves fucking your sister, Shaggy.
Pick up a potato and find out. You just put a potato in your hand, and that's it.
So if I pick up a potato, I will end up on a path towards incest.
You don't need a degree. You just need a potato.
Shut the fuck up, Katie Styles.
Can I just say one thing, and then maybe we're going to part ways here? Is that I believe that there is a commandment from God, which I do believe Mormons also recognize: "Thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain." A lot of people think that has to do with using terms like Jesus Christ when you stub your toe. I think it has to do with using religious language and talking about religious things in a way that's not serious. I think that's what you're doing. I think you should stop doing it. If you have any respect at all for your creator and for yourself, you should study these things before you start talking about them like an idiot. The Lord is patient, but not endlessly patient. And I think you should consider whether there's any respectfulness here whatsoever towards the things of God.
That's a fair point. And I'll tell you, I have read the Bible, the Quran, the Book of Mormon. I take it very seriously. And one thing you did say that I actually agreed with and wanted to address is you said that the world would be better if we had priests working in the roles of that therapists and perhaps even politicians hold. If that was the case
I didn't
where,
say that.
So you said that well, I agreed with you when you said therapists usurp the role of the priest. I was wondering if you wanted to elaborate more about that.
Yeah, I think therapy is a Jewish pseudo-religion that supplants in the West.
Yeah, I very much agree. I'm actually a psych tech. I work in that industry, and I agree with you 100%. Everything that I've seen is snake oil, and it largely seems to be anti-religious in nature.
Do you know what the basis of psychology is? Do you know what its most fundamental kind of claim is?
I probably should as a professional, but I don't. What is it?
The most fundamental claim of psychology, which was incredibly radical at the time and has never been substantiated, is that what we refer to as psychological problems, which used to be a subset of moral problems, were claimed to be organic problems in the brain, which were caused by like the wrong chemicals and things like that. The only two quasi-psychological problems that have ever been substantiated to have their origins in the brain are Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, because those are actually problems with the organ of the brain. There has never been any evidence whatsoever presented on any level that any of the other problems, which are considered psychological problems, have anything to do with chemicals in the brain as their origin. So the whole basis of this religion is garbage. But like many pseudo-religions or pseudo-sciences, when they're completely, like such as evolution also, when they're undermined, people just ignore it and move on, because actually they don't give a shit about what's true. They just want their side to win. And I do think their side is largely the side of many Jews who want to undermine Christianity. I'm not saying that there aren't real Jews, but these kind of like Jews who present themselves as revolutionaries against Christianity. I do believe that's what it really is all about. So to say that I should suggest to my daughter, which I can't do legally, largely because of revolutionary activity against men, largely inspired by Jews, should encourage me to put her in their hands is insane.
Yeah, I agree. Do you have like a priest that you see, like a family priest or something to send her to like that? That would be an infinitely better option in my opinion.
No, the vast majority of priests in the Catholic Church are also adherents. They're adherents of the pseudo religion of psychology. That's why we had all these scandals. The bishops, who are supposed to act as fathers of their priests, instead sent them to psychotherapists who basically they deferred to another religion, and they need to like really stop doing that, because when they sent them to these therapists, these demonic priests manipulated the therapists into saying like, yeah, no, I think he gets it, and sent them back to the bishop, who said, well, the therapist said it was okay, so let's put you back in action.
Yeah, no, it's I'm glad you brought that up. How do you because for me, I have a lot of problems with just the level of corruption in my own church, and I don't think it's nearly as bad as what I see in the Catholic Church. As a Catholic who clearly cares about his faith, how do you square your religion with Pope Francis and his, in my mind, very liberal, very left-wing, very satanic seeming ideology? Are you just waiting for a better leader?
No, I love Pope Francis, but the ground of your look, I'm not trying to be a hater, but the ground of Mormonism is an historical story which makes no sense whatsoever, obviously. So I don't know.
Yeah, the reason I simply don't take much stock in that is because I am not a historian or a scientist, but there are historians and scientists who are members of the Mormon Church. I am not God, but I do know that God told me in a very, very specific way to join this church. Like in a unquestionable way, God himself told me to join this church. Again, I don't want to get into that because something like that is not something you should try to justify in an internet debate. That was really...
You heard spiritual voices. There are two kinds of
no, there were no voices.
Those which come from above and those which come from below.
There were no voices.
Well, you just said God told me.
There were events. There were uncanny events. It was
Okay.
Huh? Yeah, it was just.
Was it Fallout New Vegas?
No, that's why I joined the. That's different. That's.
I do believe God acts in that way. It doesn't necessarily mean he may intend for you to move in certain ways. It doesn't necessarily mean that you, like, we meet people like who. It doesn't necessarily mean you're supposed to stay there, but I can understand that. I believe that all of our experiences, who we meet, etc., are providential, right? As as any kind of a Christian would agree, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're endorsements. If God puts someone in your life, it doesn't necessarily mean that means they think you have a healthy relation. You're going to have a healthy relationship with them, and that includes churches.
Yeah, my problem is you seem to you believe that the Catholic Church is the one true church, correct?
Correct.
Yet you acknowledge that there is today a lot of corruption in the Catholic Church, correct?
It depends what you mean by corruption. No, I would say essentially no. But there are, and always have been, bad Catholics.
All right, so there's a lot of Catholics today who are, you might say, have are trying to serve two masters. Would you say? Is that how you'd put it? There's a lot of priests who are trying to serve the woke agenda.
But do you not understand that occurred at the time of our Lord? You've never heard of Judas?
Yeah, no, I'm not. Okay, that's a fair response. That's a fair response.
Why do you not investigate the actual claims of the Mormon Church?
By the way, Power Chat's fixed. PowerChat.live/the Ralph Retort, Killstream.live/tip, Rumble Rants, all that stuff. I have a couple things backed up. I'm going to play those in a minute. I don't know how much longer I'll stay in here. We have a guest at 6.
Yeah, and that's part of it. If I told, I'll tell you, my conversion story, in private if you want. I'm just this is very public. Yeah, it's boring. It's not interesting, and it's not relevant to you. But
I'm saying you have an irrational view of God. He can tell you to do things, but are you saying he can tell you to do things that are all?
It's a leap of faith. I believe in the Mormon Church. I believe that what I experienced was God directing me.
Okay, so what wouldn't you do if you felt God was directing you to do it? Would you murder someone if you felt like God was directing?
Yes. The Book of Mormon, the first thing the Book of Mormon tells you to do is kill someone if God tells you to do it. That's the first thing the Book of Mormon tells you to do.
Okay, so you're completely irrational. Okay, so please don't ever visit me.
I wasn't intending to. I've never met you in person. I didn't know this was the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
You talk about Russia, Ben. This is.
I have. You're totally irrational. Why do you use words if you are totally irrational?
I don't know. It's convenient for me. I need to ask for things. Sometimes
you have the same mentality as a serial killer. You hear voices and you'll do anything. Okay, so maybe you should check yourself before you.
I was a serial killer. I would leave. All
right, so you've proven over and over again that you're totally and utterly irrational.
You like Insane Clown Posse? Are you down with the clown?
Juggalo. I love some Alec.
I don't know what to say. I'm not feeling it, bro.
I'm not a bad person. I'm just a Mormon, buddy. You don't.
That's what all evil people say.
You're more of a moron than a Mormon.
I think you should give me more of a chance before you declare me evil, man.
You had a lot of chance.
I didn't declare you evil. I declare irrational.
Worse than evil.
The point is of talking to someone who's openly saying they're utterly irrational.
I'm just again. It's difficult for me to look at the words of a bunch of dead men and compare that to what I believe are instructions from actual God, and say, well, I should go somewhere. Now, if God there was another similar series of events that pointed me away from the Mormon Church, I'd probably leave. But
nigga, let me tell you
being a member of the Mormon Church isn't.
Nigga, let me tell you something. God's not talking to you. I can tell you. Whatever you're hearing is not coming from God. Try something else.
I mean, I'll tell you this, right? Being a member of the Mormon Church has not always been fun. At times, it's been very painful.
Not Mormon Church.
Huh? Being a member of this church has been.
You know who you are. You know who you are. You're a buffoon. You're a buffoon. You're a fool. And
Everyone
that
in
could be
this
fun.
sector is
You're a lol cow and you're a fool. So I'm not
well,
interested.
I mean, Ben, your name is far more. It precedes you far more than mine precedes me, Ben. In that regard,
Right,
I
but that
don't know
doesn't
if
make me
you're one to
fool.
be
Our
declaring
Lord
people lol
also.
cows. I really don't know if you're the one to be declaring people lol cows. This is just
Yeah,
a
I am
discussion
one.
about religion.
I am one because I am rational. And
Look,
you're
look,
openly
you
You're a fool.
may look like some depictions of Moses, but you're not Moses, okay, buddy? You're a man who's
come
widely
on.
believed
I'm
to
not your
fuck his own
buddy.
daughter.
I'm not your buddy. I
You're
don't want anything
widely
to do with
believed to fuck your own
Get off
daughter.
my
Okay?
Discord server and get the fuck away from me permanently. Go away.
Aw.
Shaggy, you're a cunt.
Shaggy.
You're a fucking cunt, Shaggy.
You're a,
All right, I don't
you're a
know
thunder
who's
cunt.
calling me a cunt, but
You're such a stubborn
Shaggy's
faggot.
come on,
Jesus Christ, Shaggy.
Shaggy.
Have some fucking respect for yourself.
Shaggy's a king.
Shaggy is
He's
a
a
thunder cunt.
faggot. Leave Shaggy alone. What about Russia, Ben?
Shaggy's a king.
Shaggy sucks
Russia.
cock.
Russia. Shaggy's going to Russia, I've heard.
Yeah, what about Russia? Do you think I could do that? Do you think that Putin might go, yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense?
fuck no. Russia
maybe.
doesn't want more degenerate
I think
scum
so.
like you. No, Russia isn't going to take your broke ass. Fuck no. No, dumb. No,
Why not?
Ben.
Didn't you
I'm
tell
perfect.
Shaggy to fuck off and never come back? What happened to that?
Well, he doesn't listen because he's a fool.
Because
Shaggy,
I
if
don't
you
know
have a
gay
butt cock,
dumbasses who fuck their own daughters and live
He
in a
has no
fucking.
self-respect.
Hey.
No, look,
They're gonna
here's
be
an honest
living in a
guy.
tent,
Right, here
Ben.
we
They're gonna
go.
be living in a
Big
fucking
fuck-
tent. Fuck you.
Big fucking
Like,
surprise.
seriously.
Who told you to
Why
say
don't
that?
you ask Jesus to
Devil,
get you
who's
out of
your
your
father?
financial
You're a
situation, buddy? Why
fucking
don't you ask
idiot.
the Lord, or maybe the Catholic Church will bail you out? Maybe they'll help you.
Oh, internet
Oh, well.
blood sport is back.
Shaggy. Russia?
Whatever. I mean, I don't. Whatever. I don't understand what that is.
I went like the
I
Nazi.
think Putin might see it as kind of interesting because I do think I am a kind of epitome of masculinity.
I agree.
I'm 6'8". I'm super intelligent. I'm gorgeous. I have, prior to this nonsense on the internet,
Massive
I have
cock. Even bigger balls.
Crime. Yeah, I think I'm that nigga.
Huge balls to watch.
True.
Can you please unmute
You were like
Shaggy? He's a king.
20 years ago.
No, let
Don't
him
unmute
sit.
but
Let
20 years ago you were there. You're
Yeah,
52
I understand.
now.
I should get in shape. I'm sure that the Russian Federation has the resources
Oh, that's something.
to help me
Don't
get
you
a
ever
good
think-
diet,
do you
give me
ever
some
think
nice
about-
bitches to massage me, remove my lipoma, and get me in tip-top shape. You guys have never seen me looking good. I can kill it. I can kill it.
You have some
I'm
old
fucking Tom
pictures of you,
Selleck.
Ben. I don't think you've ever shared pictures of yourself from like 20 years ago or 30 years ago. You should probably do that sometime. Be interesting.
I'm better looking now than I've ever been.
Peace.
How do you feel about getting older, Ben? Like getting very, very old.
How do I feel about what?
Getting older and like dying. Are you like obsessed with that or?
I absolutely love it. I hope that a monstrous human being like you takes me out as soon as possible so I can enjoy eternal salvation.
I probably could.
My reward in the bosom of my Lord. Isn't that a great? Could you imagine people wonder why it is good to be a Christian? I don't fear anything. Do you think I fear anything? I don't fear death. I don't fear suffering. I sat in that jail and I offered up my sufferings to the Lord as a sacrifice to be combined with his sacrifice on the cross so that his grace may spread in the world. There's nothing that can touch me.
That's sick, dude.
True.
It's pretty baller. It's a pretty baller religion.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
The only alternative is living like you guys live, which is in fear constantly.
Mormon Shaggy's got nothing on that.
Yeah. And it's available to anyone. You don't need to be beautiful, tall, incredibly intelligent, educated, wealthy like me. You don't need it. You could be the lowest little scumbag, loser, worm in the world, and you still have that glory awaiting you. Even probably more so than me.
Why? Because you get all these rewards on Earth. They go without that.
No, I don't.
They're even more humble.
Big Tech, you know to some degree that to be someone with incredible talents is to attract envy to you. It is no
True,
easy
I suffer,
life.
dude.
True.
It's rough, dude.
Very
I'm
true.
surrounded by
There's some
seething,
privileges,
envious
but-
haters who want to be me.
Oh my
It's
God.
real. It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel your pain
You
on
think
that,
those
dude.
cops?
Me and you.
You watch,
Yeah,
look at
man. I
those
wish
cops.
I was a bold twat.
You really
Yeah,
do.
you do.
Oh
real.
my
You
God.
think those cops? You think those cops?
There's one of them right there.
Yeah.
Just
I wish
Those cops were
Big Tech
pissing their
never
pants
left me on the
and dragged me
Champions
away.
of
'Cause
Light
all they had was a
podcast.
gun on me.
Why,
All
Big
they had
Tech?
was a gun on.
they wished it could be bald. They wished it could
It's
be.
true.
I wish I could
You
be
know.
bold, but instead I'm just ginger. No.
Not good enough.
That's rough.
You need an actual soul to.
Oh yeah, Big Tech,
Yeah,
but you
meat.
never said that to my face when we did a podcast together. I'm still waiting for episode 7, you bold cat.
So I'm actually innocent. I know Big Tech want to ask me a question about grace. I think I answered that question, but I really do
That's
have
right.
this question. I shouldn't drive down to New York and throw myself at the mercy of the Russian Federation. They can give me citizenship. I don't necessarily have to go to Russia, right? And I
You
can start
should do it.
a PR campaign,
Yeah.
And be protected by them, because I think the consulate is technically like foreign soil, right?
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have diplomatic immunity, and
But as soon as you leave the
Yeah, I think-
consulate,
and then you don't have to go to your court.
I think it
You
is,
then you don't
actually.
even have to go to the
yeah,
court.
would I have to go to my
Problem
court
solved.
appointment? I don't think so.
No.
It's like
As long as you stay
international
there.
waters.
Now I should be able to go to my local Catholic parish and do the same thing, and the church
True.
should afford me the same
Asylum.
protection, because it's called refuge, I think, or something like that, because that's recognized in international law as a thing. So I should throw myself at the mercy of the protection of the Vatican, because technically every Catholic church is a sovereign nation. I mean, in most countries in Europe, that's true. They can't arrest you in a church, but my Catholic priest won't even talk to me because he's a fucking FAGGOT.
I'll go and see him. That's why.
Report him.
I have gone to see him.
What does he? Wait, what
He
is
told me
he?
he had COVID.
What does he say?
And I said,
A Smaster 33 sent $2 on Rumble. Let's make it 3 for 3.
they hate men.
Down.
That's not part of the
Flex
underground
biceps.
Catholic Church. They hate men.
Underground.
Yeah, right. Like in China, they have an underground church.
Sick.
That sounds pretty cool.
He's
How do I
told,
join?
he's told you he's got COVID 4 times in 2024. He just don't like you, Ben.
Yeah, I know. So a lot of people like you have problems with
Probably
men.
vaccinated.
I don't have problem. Well, I have problems. I'm confused by you because like either you're an amazing man and you've just like Chinatown's come along and pushed you into this shit and they've twisted everything, or you're a piece of shit. It's one or the other.
Right.
And it's incredibly confusing. I call it
Yeah,
a
that's
bit with
true.
a capital.
It is one or the other.
You know, like it's
Yeah, that's right.
best lies like have some truth in them, so it's a capital B bit.
Yeah, I think if you just thought I was a boring piece of shit, you wouldn't be hanging around obsessively day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year.
No,
So
I've
I do
been-
regret.
I've been hoping that it's the first one and not the second one. And when I've been talking to you, it's not fake politeness. It's like it's genuine politeness, but confusion. Like I really hope that he isn't this thing.
But here's
There's
the
so
question
much
you should ask
circumstances.
yourself. Why is it that at times you're respectful of me, and then at other times you're incredibly disrespectful of me when I don't do that?
Yeah.
Maybe you could say like, oh, that should tell me something.
Oh, that is a good question. That's just because I get confused, and then they'll push back on me that like I might be enabling a dangerous guy. I'll use a euphemism. And I listen
But this
to
goes
that, and
to
I
Ethan's
believe.
point. Do you think anyone gives a shit what you say on Discord about me? You really actually think that
Yeah,
you?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, because I'll tell you why, because you've sat there with streams with me on streams before saying I'm not letting you talk to your wife, so it seems to make a difference.
I don't have a wife. I have an ex, in the sense of like Twitter's.
Your putative wife.
Yeah,
I
my
won't let you
putative.
talk to your putative wife. Well, it makes a
Yeah,
difference,
you're
right?
part of
Like,
the crew that does that thing. Yeah.
No, I'm not. But
Do you try to stop him from talking to his wife?
no, like we were keeping his wife off streams because it wasn't good for her. Like he wants to get them all on stream.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the time.
See, these guys. This is what the problem on the internet. These guys
don't make your wife
a
into a
human
lolcat.
being and told her that they were going to protect her by creating a cult in which they won't allow anyone else to talk with her, feed into her lies, and then they say like, "Oh, this is definitely good. This is definitely healthy." It's not. It's
But,
sick,
like,
but it's her
Ethan-
fault too. You took an immature person and convinced her to do things which are crimes, she could go to jail for decades.
Like
because
what?
Plus,
why is he cucking the content, Ben? That's my problem with it. Like,
it's not just content though. You've got like
it
a
is.
girl
It's
there,
content.
A woman that's
It's not
being desperate.
content.
Like,
It's all
real
content.
life.
Who gives a fuck? You sound like pussies,
Courtney
dude.
and
Are you
John
fucking
is-
serious? Like, what in the world?
two lives
You're not on a
this way.
stream. Like you're
It's
you're
content,
actually
dude.
not on a stream.
This
It's
is actually
content.
this is actually the same
It's
point.
just content to people, but it's not our.
Of course it
What
is. Nobody
fucking
would be here if it
of
wasn't
yours
content.
Determine whether someone can handle being on the internet or not. What fucking right do you have to make a decision about keeping someone off the internet, quote, for their own good? Someone wants to be on the internet and is an adult. Let them shoot their shot.
Yeah.
They don't need your fucking help.
When you're sitting there, like when you're pulling everything up, all the messages, you bait them onto streams and then just abuse them more and make them look like shit for like some force to go in your favor, then you tell that person.
Well, am I doing that to you now? Are you a victim of me now? Should someone come along and take you off the internet and tell you that you're a victim of me, which is what you did to her?
No, because you don't have access to talk at me for 10 hours a day and do this like dialectic shit constantly. You can't brainwash me.
I have access to you whenever I want. You stuck 24/7, nigga. Yeah, you do. You show up everywhere I am.
Hey, you can't say that word. That's a bad word. You can't say that.
You're not that successful. I think Grace is doing well, but that's obviously not you as a.
But it doesn't make any sense, does it? It doesn't make any sense.
What doesn't?
You say you're on here and you're confused about whether I'm a great guy or a piece of shit.
It's true.
But
it's true.
But you protect other people from having a conversation with me because you know that they need to be protected by it. But you're
hitting them and knocking the glasses off the face. You're not hitting me, knocking the glasses off my face and fucking brainwashing
if I
me
did,
constantly.
would you then? If I knocked your glasses off your face, would you then?
Yeah.
You would then.
If I was John,
you away.
If I was John in that situation where you're just allowing Grace to like wind him up and shit, like the suffering you inflicted on him, that I'd hope someone would help me. You were torturing that boy and just didn't give a shit.
Okay, but
I would help you. I would help you.
Gives you the authority to determine whether I'm torturing someone or helping someone. It could be seen both ways, right? You just admitted I'm either a really great guy or I'm a really bad guy. I agree with that. So, but what gives you the right to determine which of those is the answer when you don't know it yourself?
I'll tell you, because you put yourself on a stream and put all this shit out there, and you invited this judgment. That's the answer.
I invited who?
You invited judgment. You can't just take publicity and like Ethan knows all about this. You can't just take the money and
I'm saying
attention.
fine, people can talk to me. I'm letting you talk to me. But you say I'm going to take other adults and make it so they can't talk to you. And I just want to know how to fucking at all.
I don't think he's talked to Courtney for a long time. I mean, I could be wrong.
He's part of a group which has taken her off the internet and told her that it's for her own good, and it has inspired her to commit crimes, serious felonies against her entire family to, quote, protect her.
No, that's us. That's not poop.
I think it sounds like you're a victim of them.
Okay, but so John has a good job. He's happier away from the family.
So Courtney says you.
I mean,
and
from what
wife's
I
a lovely
John,
woman. I talk to her almost every day.
Happy.
Lovely woman.
John seems happy, and Courtney, I don't know about her personally, but it seems like she has 2 jobs and she's taking care of the kids. So that's good.
Okay, so
why does anybody care about that though?
Because
this is
it's about
internet
Ben's family.
Spurgery. Who gives a fuck? I don't care about his family. Like, fuck. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, why would you? I mean, I'm just being real, Ben. I mean, we get along, but like, I'm not gonna sit here and feign concern.
Well, I'm just being real, mate. I'm a random individual. I don't care about your family.
I mean, I'm not wishing for bad things either, but like to sit here and moral fact like this is just, I don't know. It's bizarre.
What should we care about, Ethan?
Entertainment.
You should care about hitting that goal.
Suffer, Brian. Go get some more child porn.
Go
for your
hit
dad.
that goal.
Suffer, Brian.
Suffer,
Brian. We know you've been sitting there stewing the whole time since I stomped you out earlier. Go suck some more tranny cock, Brian.
Trying to cheat on his wife.
Go suck some more tranny
Trying to
cock.
cheat on his wife in 2017. I have the proof.
Oh, you have proof of Brian cheating on his wife?
In 2017. I have the proof.
Really?
Yes. I posted it in the chat.
Well, I'll be damned. Shocking.
That's great.
Brian.
But
it'd be a shame somebody sent that to your wife, Brian.
Wait, did you just threaten my wife, bro?
What, by sending her an email?
Ethan, can I ask you? I agree with you. You're interested in content. You're interested in entertainment. That should be the main thing we're doing here. We're not a bunch of people.
A registered sex offender in Norway is sharing something when I wasn't even married or knew my wife. That's from 2015, Ralph. You fucking moron.
What about the dick you sucked that's all over the internet?
Nope, it's 2017. I remember it because I took those screen caps.
You can add whatever you want. Just keep choking on dick. Just keep choking on dick, Brian.
Why you had child pornography in
Brian, you
what about
know,
the child pornography?
you're an idiot. Suffer, Brian. Suffer. You're addicted to this. You can't just log off. You're a fucking loser. You're a fucking loser. There's video of you sucking dick all over the internet. You're a disgrace. You're a disgrace. You don't do what I do because you failed. Because you failed, Brian. Suffer. Suffer.
Finally, entertainment.
Ethan, don't you think the greatest punishment for being married to Brian is being married to Brian?
Yes,
don't you think
I do,
it's
actually.
You don't need anyone who signs up for that?
Yeah, I do. And I'm not gonna send her any emails, but it sure would be funny. You're not funny,
listen
dude.
to the.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's mental.
This is the man you've chosen openly to have sex with. I got no sympathy there.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Well, Ben, earlier you said a 16-year-old might be able to convince you to suck your own dick.
Yes. Ben, I'd like to go back to that. Ben, we never finished that. Like, what about a hot 14?
That's cool.
No, we're not going through that conversation.
You want to do the age of consent? I'll simply say be true that after the age of puberty, whenever a girl hits that, she is
puberty. Whoa.
Phoebophile.
Sexually attractive to men.
That's when they get pubes, isn't it, Ben? Whoa.
That's called biology.
No, I asked you if they'd be able to seduce you, Ben, not if they were sexually attractive.
Well, sexual attractiveness, I don't know what to tell you, nigga. Like, I don't know. If you don't know how biology works, if you don't know how seduction works, if you don't know how
agreeing with you
human
on
sexuality works, then what to tell you.
So you think any like post-pubescent girl could seduce you because of biology?
No, I didn't say that.
She used her biology on me.
That's kind of what you're saying. Like, I'm saying, why would you have the willpower or not to prevent it is? Would you have the willpower to prevent a 14-year-old girl that's hot, your words, from seducing you?
Well, this is one of these stupid kind of arguments. You're saying in a tempting situation or in a situation
in what you're calling a tempting.
Tempted by
what would I do?
I don't remember saying a 16-year-old was tempting me. You know what I'm saying?
I could sit here and tell you things that are not true.
You sit here and tell me lots of things.
What happens? Well, my answer is like you don't let it get to that point. You block
into
them,
my
and you
ear,
don't develop to that point. That's generally what men do.
Excuse
let
me?
it progress to that stage. Men.
Yeah, but you don't understand, Coop. That
the girl says
14
14.
was the devil.
She says, hi, I'm 14, and most guys say bye. Whereas
right.
It's a tempting situation.
I would absolutely talk.
Where are we talking about fucking kids again? Every fucking thing.
Talk to them, yes.
Okay, yeah, never mind. Yeah, we're all fucking fondlers, aren't we? So might as well move on.
This moral hysteria about pedophilia makes no sense. I mean, well, you can do it all you want.
Crazy.
What the fuck?
Well, look,
yeah,
Ben,
it's crazy.
I just want to say I don't wish ill on your family. I'm not saying that, but like these people who fake like they care, they really don't, and it's just to try to troll you and get more stuff.
Well, I think it's sad, man. They don't really care.
They don't care. They don't care, and you're an idiot.
Mormon Shaggy fitting his ass.
Yeah. I agree. That's been like how I've been talking to Grace. It's like you have to understand the role of a creator in their audience is the role of a performer and their fans, and you should take it. I don't think
there is that rare person or a few who actually might care, but for the most part, no, right? Like, I mean, everybody on this call.
But you know this, Ben? It doesn't matter whether I care or not. I still took your wife away from you, bitch.
Yeah, you bitch. We got your wife.
Hey, let me ask Reza a question. Did you or did you not show Grace a picture of your 12-year-old daughter and say that you found it really, really difficult to navigate being her father because she's sexually mature?
No.
I did, and this is the reason I don't talk to Grace anymore.
Jesus Christ.
This is the reason I don't talk to Grace anymore.
No,
that's not.
That sounds bad.
That does sound very bad, I have to say. You're stuttering all of a sudden, sir.
I've been stuttering all night. I'm drunk, nigger.
What?
Let him elaborate.
He's just drunk.
I actually think that's the most likable thing. I think that's the most likable thing you've ever done. Does it?
Can you make
indicate
me
to me that
shit, Clayton?
I was talking to Grace, and we were talking about different things, and I was struggling with the fact that my daughter was really young and really overdeveloped, in my opinion. And I didn't know that she'd show this to her dad. Huh?
Why would you send that to some random streamer and talk like that about your daughter?
It wasn't a random streamer. We've been talking about mum.
Well, I mean, these people are online for content. Why would you send out pictures of your fucking daughter and talk about how she's overdeveloped?
I think it's fine. I think it's actually fine.
I don't, Ben. I'm sorry. I can't co-sign that.
Not overdeveloped.
It's fine.
I mean, I just can't.
Well, even your kids are relatively young. I do think it's a normal thing for a father to have some difficulty navigating when their daughter
if you have that difficulty, you shouldn't send those. I just can't. Ben,
Ben's making it seem like he sent the photo at the same time as that comment, whereas Ben would make if you're worried about your daughter getting a boyfriend, this is you being sexually worried about your daughter. This is the games he plays.
I think it's a normal part of being a father. When you're separated.
I was friendly with Grace, and we used to talk about stuff like.
She's an internet personality, dude. It's not a therapist or somebody in your private life.
Whatever. Anyway, also,
you're sick.
I mean, you're sick.
You're sick.
Fucking prick.
You're sick.
I think your 12-year-old daughter should come on stream.
I do not think that at all, and I will be leaving immediately.
I disagree. Come on screen and talk about it if she feels comfortable. If she feels, if that her personality. Talk about what it is to be a 13-year-old girl and the tensions of doing so. I think that's what YouTube's about. I think there would be weirdos who would say all kinds of crazy shit. But
precisely, that's why you don't bring her on, Ben. That's what I'm saying.
It's not happening, Ben.
Well, okay, but I mean, I think that should be up to her at a certain point. Certainly, when she turns 18, and if she wants to do that, she should be able to do that. I think it could be helpful. It could be a misstep. I'm just saying. I believe that women and girls are human beings, and I think I'm the only nigga left who says that. The police don't agree. The society doesn't agree. Maybe Vladimir Putin would agree with me.
I don't know, man.
I think I should explore that.
Ben, I wish you the best, man, and take care. I got to ask some questions here today, and I have a guest coming up at the top of the hour. But I'm gonna go ahead and vacate the premises.
All right.
And Brian,
stop procuring, an amazing father.
Stop procuring child porn for your pedophile father who's convicted.
Never have anything else. You're gonna kill yourself.
Brian, your father's a convicted child porn connoisseur.
You're not allowed to write your kid. Your dad's fucking dead. Your dad raped you, bro.
Yeah, well, I would want him to be dead if he was a pedophile like your dad, Brian. Your dad should be dead because he's a pedophile.
You're gonna kill her.
He's a chop off the old block. You're a chop off the old block, Brian! A chop off the old pedophile block, Brian! Stop being a pedophile! There was that segment.